We'll begin a brand new week here on Three Man Front. Pat, Landrum, Molly, Conrad. Should be a fun week.
Let's do it. Let's make this a fun week.
Reaction Monday straight ahead. 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. We will talk golf. We'll talk baseball. More baseball. We'll talk college football. All the things here on this Monday. Hope you'll join us in the fun and frivolity here on Three Man Front. The handoff is always an interesting thing between the two shows. As
it
we
is.
Try to get in here, get our headsets set up, and, you know.
Yeah.
Conrad getting Greg to sign Alabama memorabilia so that he can put on eBay.
So awkward.
All that time stuff.
It's so awkward.
Very, very, very odd.
Greg's just like, wait, I'm not sure.
I'm running out of nieces and nephews to claim they're for. I'm having to make up names now.
You have your closet that you keep all the stuff in?
That's right.
You pay homage?
Got to have a backup plan, you know?
That's right. That's right. The guy at T-Town Menswear did it for years.
That's right.
Very much so. Yeah, that was big time. We are 28 days away from SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're under a month, and we will be in the hot city of Atlanta. It's going to be nice and cool.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be balmy at all.
We're going to get an Arctic blast from Canada.
We will be there during All-Star Week.
Yeah, we will. There'll be a lot of All-Stars there. And
not a lot of Braves.
No, you have a lot of Braves fans.
Yeah, there will be. Too bad they couldn't have had the game when they were supposed to have the game, because there probably would have been plenty of Atlanta Braves that had been representatives of their city.
But y'all had, 8 All-Stars like 2 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be a little short of that this year.
Yeah. I've not forgotten that, Rob Manfred.
Is Acuna eligible
I've forgiven,
for the,
I just
voting now?
haven't forgotten.
I think so.
He should be.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get in.
Yeah. I'd say Acuna, swelling back. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, it's Chris Sale.
Not De Los Santos?
No, it definitely won't be anybody from the bullpen.
Golly, De Los Santos. He's just not what we need right now.
No, when you give up 9 runs to the Colorado Rockies from innings 7 through 9.
It's not even that. They got a guy it's on the bump. As good as they looked on Friday, the Braves did, and then getting a win on Saturday. Yesterday, you mustered 1 run against a guy that
Austin Gomber.
Yeah.
Who was
you know
part
very
of the,
well.
Household name now.
Nolan Arenado trade with the Colorado Rockies.
But I was looking at his stats from this year. Was that his first appearance?
Yeah, he's been injured.
Yeah. So he goes out there and he looks like Cy Young against the Braves, the hapless bats of the Braves, and once again, runners in scoring position couldn't produce. That's what happens. That's the frustration of this season. Get beat by a team that's won 14 games.
Well, the good news is Grant Holmes looked really good.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
Mm-hmm.
So was Strider.
Made the mistake to McMahon, who had struck out 7 straight times at the plate, and then you serve him a fastball that he puts over the center field wall to make it 2-1. And then Brian Snitker, there's the frustration with the Braves fans, is you go ahead and you pull Grant Holmes, and you bring in that, and you let that stay out there on the mound. Pooey. Conrad, how was your weekend with your Yankees?
Oh, it was terrible.
They got swept.
We got swept by a team so bad they traded their best player immediately after sweeping the Yankees. So that was not it wasn't a good weekend for any of us.
We won 1 of 3.
We did too.
Yeah.
So
Wow, who would have thought that this weekend the Braves would have won?
Looky there.
Braves won more than the Cardinals, Tigers, or Yankees.
You can't get the Rockies every series, guys.
No, it's going to change now with the Mets.
Yeah, that's right.
Rolling into town.
And we're saving our best baseball for the Mets.
That's right.
So the Braves off tonight. They will start a 3-game series with the Mets. Schwelly is on the bump first, followed by Chris Sale. So it's lined up pretty nicely for Atlanta from a pitching standpoint. You just heard what Conrad was mentioning. Blockbuster trade yesterday. We're about a month away from the trading deadline. And for the Boston Red Sox to trade slugger Rafael Devers to the Giants for Jordan Hicks, former Cardinal, who could throw about literally 104, 105 miles an hour. Kyle Harrison, also the 13th overall pick from last year's MLB amateur draft, a player from Florida State. He is going to Boston, and another player, minor leaguer, for the Giants. heading to the East Coast. Devers, 28 years old, hit 214 home runs in his career with the Red Sox. Began his career as a 20-year-old.
He's so good.
3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Won a World Series ring with the team back in 2018. If you don't follow baseball and you kind of scratch your head when you hear, well, why is this such a big deal? Well, I mean, you've got a guy that they committed a $313.5 million contract to. And he still had 8 years left on the contract. So you kind of got the feeling, oh, buyer's remorse. Not to mention the fact that it got ticked off because when Bregman came over from Houston, took his position of third base. So they basically told their highest paid player, hey, you're not playing third anymore. And then he starts out slow out of the gate for Boston this year. Did not hit well. Then all of a sudden the Yankees go into town. They're swept by Boston. Boston's now won 5 in a row. So then you trade Devers after the game. Matter of fact, they had to pull him off the plane. They're flying to Seattle, and they literally said, hey, we need you off the plane. And so they had to escort him back to Fenway Park to get his car and go get on another plane.
What would his
San
immediate?
Francisco.
You have officials from the airport or from the team. They board the plane and they're like, "Hey, Rafael, you got to come with us." What is his immediate thought?
I guess at that point you're probably saying goodbye to everybody when you're walking off the plane because you kind of know what.
Or do you know? Or
situation
you
put
like?
yourself in.
Did they pick something up in my bag?
Uh,
Is this a joke? Somebody plant something in my bag? No, he's a really good player. Got to see him a few weeks ago, and hey, good for the Giants. Go and absorb a whole lot of cash.
Yeah, it's just funny because it feels like the Red Sox it's kind of a way of sticking it to him because the Giants are a good team, right? He gets to go and compete for, a team that's probably going to be in the postseason now, but they have Matt Chapman, who is a Gold Glove winning third baseman. So they didn't send him somewhere where he's going to get to go and play third base.
Well, Chapman is out for about another month.
He is, yeah.
He's injured.
Hurt.
So he will get a little bit of a taste of his natural position of third base before he is
back to DH.
Yeah, relegated to that. But the Giants are on the hook for 8.5 years, $254 million plus, because of the trade he had in his contract, a $2 million bonus just for being traded away from the Red Sox that the Giants will have to pay. But Buster Olney is in charge of the Giants now, and they are in win-now mode. So Buster Olney said, let's pull the trigger. Let's make this happen. We'll take on the $254 million. We'll pay the $2 million to get him on this roster this year. So big deal with about a month left before the trading deadline.
The guy that I would want just based on salary, and he's going to be a hot commodity. I know the Red Sox have an option on him in 26 is Jarren Duran.
He's really good. Hey, I mean,
Really
if they're
like that
trading Devers
guy.
at this point, I mean, they might. That's a guy that's been mentioned as maybe available at the deadline.
Mm-hmm. The other big news in baseball is tonight. Shohei Ohtani back on the bump. How about that? This will be the 87th time that he has taken to the pitcher's mound in Major League Baseball. Has an ERA of 3.01.
About time the Dodgers got their money's worth with that guy.
That's right. So as you're watching the College World Series tonight, you're going to get the double box because you know every time that he's on the mound, they're going to want to show it.
But you better watch it quickly because word is he's only going to pitch maybe an inning, perhaps two. So this will be a bullpen game for the Dodgers.
Okay.
Minimum number of strikeouts that he has.
But it's interesting.
He's going to get shelled.
We were just talking to Cole about this. It's interesting. Why not just let him come in the back end of the game, like middle relief, like 6th, 7th inning? But instead now you're, throwing him at the beginning of the game, which will ultimately turn into a bullpen game.
Maybe that's just, I don't know.
In the first game of a series.
Yeah, and maybe it's just his routine, right? He's not used to coming out of the bullpen, so you just kind of want him to get him back in the flow of starting a game and going through his warm-ups and everything. But yeah, that's kind of bizarre. I mean, again, I didn't expect him to go more than 4 or 5 innings, but only one? That's kind of bizarre. I'm sure he'll hit 3 home runs too, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. So we will see what happens tonight. For some reason, I thought that Shohei had lifetime ERA below 3, but it's above.
Was it,
3.
like 3.5?
No, it's 3.01.
Oh, okay.
But still, the way that
everyone talks like he's the greatest pitcher of all time.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's a good pitcher.
So we'll see. Going up against the Padres tonight. So that will be the big story. You mentioned the College World Series. You guys surprised Arkansas lost to LSU?
No, not at all.
No, poor Ty.
Hmm.
Feel bad for
I
my
wonder how
friend.
many of those golf rounds he's already canceled.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, I scheduled this. I'm staying here.
It's really tough when you're that team, and maybe Coastal Carolina is a little bit different. When you're that team, and the expectation is, all right, this is your year, this is your time, it's all set up for you, and then you have to play a team that you faced during the regular season that took 2 of 3. I think LSU's playing really good baseball. But golly, Coastal. Woo.
Yeah, Coastal wins again yesterday, knocking off Oregon State 6-2. Oregon State made a little noise there towards the back end. Louisville eliminated Arizona, so the Big 12 representative out of the tournament. As we mentioned, LSU beat Arkansas 4-1. LSU now 4-0 in Omaha against Arkansas.
Wow.
So the Omahogs
That's their kryptonite. Yep.
just have not been able to take care of business. So today you have an elimination game at 1 o'clock. Either Murray State or Arkansas will go home.
Murray State could knock out Ole Miss and Arkansas.
Wouldn't that be something?
Mhm.
And then you got a winner's bracket game tonight as UCLA takes on LSU.
That's going to be really, really fun to watch. I'll be honest, I was sleeping a little bit on UCLA coming into this tournament.
Well, we'll see how good they are tonight.
It's because of my Southern SEC bias. I just assume that we do everything better down here.
Well, we didn't expect them to have
Well,
a lot
we
of
do.
fan support out there either.
Yeah.
Which, they haven't. But
But every now and then you'll get one of those teams.
Did I hear you this morning say they had to shut down the shooter
Rocco's.
challenge?
yeah, they.
happened?
From my understanding, maybe some LSU fans got a little too rowdy.
I think there's an altercation.
Shocker.
Imagine that.
Yeah, shocker. Alcohol and LSU fans. get out of
Encouraging
hand.
people to buy mass amounts of alcoholic shots and then consume them and nothing go wrong.
Well, I think LSU was at what, like 13,000 or something at last check. They had over twice as many as the next.
It's not even close.
But credit to Murray State, they were actually in second with the second most.
Did
shots.
Livy Dunn show up in her split jersey?
Yeah, she was. Or I don't know if she was at Rocco's.
I
but
do
yeah, she was
think
at the game.
and this would be wrong to do, but maybe it would be a good idea. At some point, when somebody has consumed so many Jell-O shots, just start giving them straight Jell-O, and they will have no idea.
Oh, you're right.
Save on the alcohol.
Just a little trick from a bartender that had to serve mass amounts of alcohol
To minors.
people who like to. No,
See, I was
You
hoping
can't
that
get in trouble for
you
it
didn't catch
anymore.
no, no. If they were minors, then their ID said that they weren't. There were a couple. We had to.
escort out.
It was just like, there's no way. There's no way. Just because you're a prodigy and you're here on scholarship does not mean,
Ooh.
yeah.
Wow.
13-year-old.
I'm not kidding. It wasn't a 13-year-old.
Oh, baby Gronk, you know you're not old enough.
I think the kid was 16. I think he's probably running the IT department now.
Well, we have a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home comfortable with Trane, America's most reliable HVAC brand. And to give you more peace of mind, Trane is offering up to 10-year warranties on parts and labor on select home comfort systems. So to learn more about this offer and to find a specialist near you, visit Trane.com.
Oh, what a U.S. Open yesterday. We'll get into that. We will look at our Twitter poll question of the day. How difficult was it yesterday winning the U.S. Open the way that J.J. Spawn did? We'll get into that. Open up the phone calls at 1-800-239-WJOX.
10:18 on 3-Man Front. Text line reaction Monday is open for business. 205-834-9450. Always tell you about our friends at Mystic Beverage. Great product, great company right here in the state of Alabama, Blount County to be precise. Mystic Beverage. It's sparkling water infused with various cannabinoids for relaxation and focus. My favorite is the Lift Blend. It's got the CBD, the CBG, the Delta 9, and most importantly, the green coffee bean extract. It's going to boost both your body and your mind, pick you up when you need picking up, and it's a great alternative to alcohol. All of these products are, including the High Hills Delta 9. You get the 5 milligram or the 15 milligram for the balance and elevated vibe. And if you want to unwind, how about the Nirvanic? They got the 25 milligram Delta 9 for the smooth, calming experience. You can find all of these products at your local Piggly Wiggly. Go online, mysticbeverage.com. That's mysticbeverage.com.
Pat, what's that you got over there? You got something?
What are you talking about?
You got
Oh,
something.
you mean this?
Oh, it's
It looks
a pretty
great.
purple color.
Try talking into that microphone. I think that one works better.
Test. 1, 2, 1,
Yeah.
2, 1, 2.
Sounds great.
It's awesome.
I was just handed a.
It doesn't have a cord.
No, it doesn't.
Just saying. Doesn't look like a wireless. Very nice. Employee of the month, Pat Smith. It's wonderful.
Really proud of you, Pat.
We're very proud.
Thank you, teammates. Appreciate all that you do every single day to prop me up.
We do
so
our
that
best.
so that I can win this type of award.
That's right. Yep. Do you get to keep that, or does that have to go with all of our other awards?
I think I keep this one.
Just wondering.
We'd like to display them all together, Landrum.
Okay.
Greg McElroy congratulated me earlier.
He did.
Yes, that was very special.
With an autographed jersey, right?
I should have had him autograph my trophy.
That's right.
You think McElroy would sign my trophy?
Does it say have your name on it?
No.
Ah.
Mm.
So you've won it.
Mm-hmm.
You've won it.
Mhm.
I sure have.
Pat's won it. No, not me. You know I hadn't.
We went back to back. You was February. You're right. You were February, Conrad.
Something like that.
I
February
was
or
March.
March.
You're in March, and I'm May.
Yep.
We're pulling for you, Landry.
Damien's won it.
Sabres won it.
Yep.
I was about to say you, Greg, and Cole.
And Haney.
Well,
I don't.
it'd be kind of rigged if he won it, right?
I don't know. Would it?
Is that allowed?
Well, he's an employee.
That's true.
I don't know if Greg and Cole are eligible.
We're going to run a great campaign for you. You know how Bo Nix got his skyscraper for his Heisman race?
Yeah.
We're thinking that, but bigger.
Like maybe put it on the building next door.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to poo-poo it, but I'm not holding my breath waiting for my picture to be displayed on that monitor.
So I should cancel my meeting with the Sphere in Las Vegas to have Landrum Roberts plastered
Yes.
across the
Get that.
strip.
Get that canceled.
Okay. Just trying to help.
What a day yesterday for JJ Spawn. He wins the 125th U.S. Open, finishes 1 under par. He sinks a 64-foot putt to win the U.S. Open, his first career major win. It was the longest putt made the entire week at Oakmont, 64 feet. Spawn finished 50th at the Masters, 37th at the PGA Championship. He had 150-1 odds to win the U.S. Open. So if you put $100 down on JJ Spawn, you walked away with 15 grand.
Nice. Never saw it coming.
Not too shabby.
The 25th ranked player in the world. He is the 6th player in the last 100 years to win the U.S. Open in 2 or fewer starts in the U.S. Open.
Wow.
So impressive to do it over the 4 days that he did, and the way that he started with a 4 under opening round, and just I couldn't imagine being on 18 tee box and knowing what was on the line, and he absolutely owned it. I mean, he smacked that drive.
Oh, and it's about saying the shot on 17 where he had the eagle look
Yeah.
and ultimately got the birdie that gave him the win. That was, I mean, talk about being locked in a moment where most of us would, yeah. You
The
could
pride
see
of
where
San
you would
Diego
falter.
State, baby.
Yep,
There
Aztec.
you go.
He now receives exemptions into the other 3 major championships for the next 5 years. So he doesn't have to worry about that.
Very cool.
So even if you finish dead last, you're still going to get a payday.
Yep.
By just being able to be there. He takes home $4.3 million. That's tied for the largest ever prize for a major.
Not bad.
Not a bad payday. Yesterday's prize money for Spawn is nearly 1/4 of what his career earnings was coming into the tournament.
Yeah, that's life-changing. I mean, he's already a millionaire, but that's life-changing money.
So you remember the stat that I gave you guys the other day? Before Thursday, of the 1,385 players who teed it up at Oakmont in the 9 previous U.S. Opens played there, only 28 or 2% of all the golfers had finished below par. Spawn was the only player of the 156 that teed off on Thursday to finish under par. So if you're doing the math at home, that's now over 1,500 golfers that have teed up in the 10 tournaments played there at Oakmont. It went from 2% shooting under par to 1.8%. Only one of the 156 finish under par.
That's remarkable. And it looked like for a little bit you might not have anybody that finished under par yesterday because you had, on about 14 or 15, 4 guys that were tied at 1 over.
And you remember Friday when we were on this program about this time, there were 10 players had finished in the red on Thursday.
Yeah.
And so you started thinking, wow, did they not do enough to the course? Because they wanted carnage. And it took them a couple of days, but then
they the rain.
Yeah, once the rain came on Friday, that was big. And Molly, our 3-man front Twitter poll question of the day has to do with what JJ Spawn did in the rain in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so today we ask, which is a more difficult thing to do with a game or tournament on the line and in the rain? Is it to kick a 50-yard winning field goal, hit a 9th inning walk-off home run, or make a 64-foot putt on 18? And that's winning by a long shot. So making the putt is at 64.3%, the walk-off home run is at 20.5%, and the 50-yard winning field goal is at 15.1%.
No love for kickers,
None.
ever.
None.
Mm-mm. They're valuable.
Yeah. And 50 feet, that's a long, or 50 yards, that's a long,
In the rain,
it's a long kick.
Mm-hmm.
you got to have a long snapper to get it back there properly. You got to get the holder to put it down. Then you have the kicker come through and hit it.
Everybody's got a block up front.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things got to happen.
I think the thing with the putt is everyone, you think, oh, well, I can putt a golf ball, right? Give me a putter, go out there, I'll whack it and see how far it goes. But to get it exactly right from 64 yards out or 64 feet out like that in the rain when it's slow.
Yeah. It's
That's
really impressive.
Crazy difficult.
Yeah, I mean, trying to read the greens, especially after the rain, because, they're dried out. The stimp meter is through the roof. And then the rain kind of slows things up a little bit. So for him to just be able
Are you
to,
just putting to a midway point if you're JJ Spawn,
I mean, I would think you would have to.
right?
Because, man, if you went past that hole,
Yeah, that was definitely a ballsy putt to know, hey, I need 2 to win it, and you're just going for it all on one. I mean, respect.
I'm glad Spawn won it. I was pulling for Sam Burns, kid from LSU.
oh, you mean after
For it all on one. I mean, respect.
I'm glad Spawn won it. I was pulling for Sam Burns.
Oh, you mean US that he had to.
He wasn't happy about that.
No. I like that he named his son Bear.
Did he?
That's a great
Bear
name.
Burns? That's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
I just saw people on social media just absolutely ripping USGA for making him hit out of the puddle. And then his shot from the puddle was awful.
It was bad, yeah.
Well, from Oakmont, we're going to go to Shinnecock next year.
Mm-hmm.
Brooks Koepka won it last time.
Okay.
You want to know what the winning score was?
12 under.
It's a U.S. Open, but +1.
+1. Okay.
USGA loves doing that stuff. They love it.
Yeah. It was compelling TV though.
What was the commercial they were running over the weekend? The USGA, they don't make the course hard to embarrass the golfers. It was a whole commercial they did, and it was about the fact that like nobody was scoring well, and they were trying to give a defense on what
We're
they
not
were
being
doing.
mean to the golfers.
Yeah.
They're professionals. Make it hard.
Well, let's hear JJ Spawn
Some of them are
after
professionals.
yesterday. Him and his lovely family As Landrum mentioned, the San Diego State Aztec comes off with the U.S. Open win.
Well, today I was running to CVS in downtown because my daughter had a stomach bug and was vomiting all night long. So I was just like, okay. Like, my wife was up at 3 a.m. and she's like, Violet's vomiting, although she can't keep anything down. And so it was kind of a rough start to the morning. I'm not blaming that on my start, but it was just kind of like it fit the mold of what was going on, the chaos. But my daughter always asks me every time Dad goes golfing, she's like, were you the winner today? And I'm just sometimes like, yeah, I was. And then she's like, well, where's my surprise? But so today she's like, you're the winner today. Like, she got to see it. Like, she didn't have to ask me. So that was a really fun moment.
I mean, it's one thing to go into the final round of the U.S. Open in contention and having the stress of dealing with that. But having 2 kids and going through the stomach virus stuff and how easily that could all of a sudden start running through your whole household. Can you imagine that being the back of his mind? Like, all of a sudden I'm on like hole 3 or 4 and all of a sudden it hits me and having to deal with that.
Have we done a check on him today? Because that was my thought.
Yeah, it's like, you're gonna
That's
get through
when
this.
the stomach virus is going to hit him.
Yeah.
A stomach virus. Oh, it's not the worst, but it's bad.
Yeah, that would be very.
And you're right.
inopportune
It's so
time.
contagious.
Oh, it's that's where my wife's medical background, I said, you need to deal with this.
That's why I've never understood the
Because
parents.
your immunity system is
That's
built
right.
up. Mine's not.
I've never understood the parents who have kids knowingly knowing that they have a stomach virus.
And you send them to school?
Well, or you send them to school, or even worse than that, you take them to an event, whether it's a family event or a social outing, and you know it, and you're going to try to keep it under wraps, and
Yep.
then everybody else gets sick.
Yeah, that usually happens at the holidays.
Yeah, happened to me at Christmas.
Yep.
Didn't want to see your kids that bad. Yeah. Called them on Christmas. Let them know.
But that won't happen again.
Guess where I am? Guess where I am in my house?
He's praying to the porcelain gods.
I'm in the hallway bathroom. That's right.
That's when you know it's bad, when you've got to go to the hallway.
Yeah.
He's in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to contaminate the good bathroom.
I've got my Crocs on in the shower.
All right, it's Reaction Monday, 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. 1034, Jox 94.5. Welcome back in. This is three-man front. Pat Landrum, Conrad Molly. At the top of the hour, Brett Ciancia. He will join the program from Pick Six Previews. We'll talk some SEC football. His magazine is going to be coming out in a couple of weeks, but he's going to give us a little preview of what he is currently thinking. Also remind everybody about Alabama Professional Services, APS, or alabamaprofessional.com, 205-951-9717. During this wet time of the summer where we get these afternoon pop-up thunderstorms, a reminder that you need to make sure that your crawl space has been properly encapsulated, because APS's crawl space encapsulation system, it can stop water, keep pests out while lowering your energy costs, and that's very important this time of the year. The engineers at APS will design a custom solution for your home. Crawl space problems don't get better over time. They get better when you call APS at 205-951-9717.
Jox text line is open, 205-834-9450. Already comments, reaction to what is transpired in the first 30 minutes of this program. So you will need a little bit of context for some of these. Posey says Molly is the one that served minors alcohol when she worked at the state store.
I've never done that. Promise.
Going back to the Jell-O shot conversation.
So did you ever take any while you worked there?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
No, my parents got the worker discount on my behalf.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I obviously couldn't purchase anything.
Bobby texts in. He says, I feel like Landrum's Jeeps and, let's say, Clay Disc sporting shooting name from last week should make him a lock for Next Employee of the Month award. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
Glad you guys enjoyed it. Michael says a 50-yard game winner is outdated now. They're driving from 60 yards plus, i.e. the thicker kicker. Does seem like legs are stronger these days when it comes to kicking.
I was just thinking for like the average person trying to do it.
Like average person?
Still very difficult.
Yes.
Like one of us trying to do it.
Now go and just put it on a kickoff tee and see how many you can knock through the uprights
that would help.
From extra point range. CT in Montgomery says the commercial said they were trying to find the best golfer, going back to the USGA.
Okay. They're not trying to embarrass them. They're just trying to find the best golfer.
I guess it's not Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, where does Scott? I was going to say, where does Scotty Scheffler finish?
Tied for 9th.
Not bad. He'll beat himself up over that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mike on the College World Series, Mike Shreveport says Hogs should not have started Root against LSU. He's been fading, and other guys have been getting better.
He just couldn't get his breaking ball over. That big sweeper.
Back to the Rafael Devers trade. He's now a San Francisco Giant, by the way. You missed it. As a Red Sox fan, I had a fantastic weekend until the Devers trade. It sucks having ownership group called Fenway Sports Group who cares more about their soccer team, Liverpool, than the team their group is named after. Collins from Pell City. Thank you, Collins.
Saw a lot of that yesterday on social media. A lot of people very frustrated with the ownership because you've now gotten rid of Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, Chris Sale in the last 6 years.
This one reads, Red Sox asked Devers to play first about a month ago, and he refused.
And he has now apparently made it clear to the Giants that he is happy to change positions if that's what they need to win a championship this year. So amazing what a change of scenery does for somebody.
Anyone can get lucky and hit a putt. You can't get lucky and hit a field goal or a home run.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
In the sense of, okay, if you have 100 shots at making a putt, you're far more likely to do that. You may have 100 cuts at a fastball and never even make contact with it. Like if you were going to get lucky doing one of those things, it would probably be the putt.
Okay. I can kind of get on board with that.
But you're going to have to be really lucky to hit that 64-yard putt.
You're right.
Really lucky.
I think we all as go. I don't know the longest putt that you've ever. I did it on a 2-tiered green, and there was no way I ever thought that the ball was going to go in. I was just trying to get it remotely into the quadrant of where the pin was. It ended up going in the hole. So I can kind of get on board with that.
I mean, I thought his putt would win the poll question, but I thought it would be a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever stood in a batter's box, it's difficult anyway to hit a home run. But to do it when it's raining and you might have a problem, you might have water dripping off the bill of your helmet, trying to pick up what the pitcher is throwing. There's all sorts of things that would add to the difficulty of someone trying to hit a home run when it's raining.
And the ball's typically not going to go as far when it's raining because it's going to get slowed down. Yeah.
And Drake, big Florida fan, says, guys, Billy Napier is cooking on the recruiting trail.
I had a good weekend.
Yep. Who's the 5-star guy they got from Tupelo?
Yeah, he's the defensive lineman.
Did that guy play against you when you went over there? Not you, but Hewitt?
Yes, he played. Their running back did not because he's a baseball player, and they had played the night before Tupelo High School in the state championships. So he did not go through spring practice. But yeah, the defensive lineman, he looks the part.
Good.
What's in the water in Tupelo?
Or what's the NIL like in Tupelo? I think that's probably the better question.
Apparently pretty good.
But that doesn't happen in high school.
No.
It's all about academics.
Yes. And developing socially with your friend groups.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
about the love of the game.
goes without saying.
And Brent texts into the show and ask any chance for the one chip challenge today. Thanks.
It's a good question, Brant.
I don't know. That chip is just sitting there in its cellophane in the coffin encased box that it came in. Every day that goes by,
I'm happy
it's
to do
another
it today.
day past that best if used by date.
Pat's got that look on his face.
It's
but
now-
It could definitely be a joke.
It's now 5 years and 7 days expired.
Yeah, my dad asked me the other day, he said, yeah, I heard about the chip thing, and I did a little research, and they don't make those anymore. So how did you get it? And I said, well, that's the good news, is it's been sitting in the bed of Landrum's truck for 4 years.
Landrum went on
Not
the dark
in the
web
bed
and
of
got
the
it.
truck.
Or, sorry, in your
In the
toolbox.
console.
Or your center console.
Can't get the toolbox open. Thanks
That's
for
right.
reminding me.
That's right.
You can buy all sorts of things on the dark web.
Like expired one-chip challenges.
What's some?
Is that right next to the kidneys on the black market?
Let's just think of other things that they banned that we no longer can purchase.
Lawn darts.
Yeah.
Whippets.
Yeah. Whippets would be one.
Did you ever play lawn darts ever? Did you ever have an opportunity to participate in lawn darts before they were banned?
No.
It was fun.
I bet it was. It probably wouldn't have been a good game for me.
They were very heavy, not as
Yeah.
heavy as a horseshoe.
You throw
know
them
what I'm saying?
underhand or you throw them
Oh,
javelin
no,
style?
no. Underhand.
Play bocce ball.
I like
It's not as
bocce ball's
dangerous.
fun. Yeah, bocce ball's fun.
I mean,
No, but if you got a drunk friend that doesn't know you
lawn darts,
get
always
hit
had
with a
to
bocce ball, it could hurt.
worry about your eyes.
We played darts on the bachelor trip with cans and real darts.
Huh.
Only one person got stuck. It wasn't that bad. It only bled a little bit.
You got stuck.
No, I did. One of my friends did.
Oh.
Got stuck in the leg. Just had a
Ugh.
dart hanging out.
Ugh.
It was
Can you
fun.
still I would like to purchase lawn darts. Because we don't have any animals anymore. I feel like me and the wife could get out there, have a little fun.
I
Until
don't
she
know.
accidentally throws one over the fence and impales Gary.
That would be a problem. Oh! This is Reaction Monday here on Jox. We'd love to hear from you. 1-800-239-WJOX. The UFL crowned a champion over the weekend. So how many people showed up in St. Louis? We'll tell you next on Three Man Front. 10:47 here on Jox. Welcome back into Three-Man Front on this Reaction Monday. Top of the hour, Brett Ciancia. He's going to join the program from Pick Six Previews. Get his thoughts on the SEC. His preview magazine is due out in a couple of weeks, but he'll give us a hint or two of where he's leaning. He'll talk a little Alabama and Auburn and the rest of the SEC.
Well, if you're out in your backyard enjoying fun with your family and friends, maybe you've got an old lawn dart set that Pat was just talking about. Well, there's something that you don't want to have to worry about when you're having that outdoor fun, whether you're chilling or you're playing in the yard with the kids, and that is the bugs, the pesky insects, the stinging type. First it starts as the sting, and then it just itches uncontrollably for days. Nobody wants that. Stark Exterminators, that is the company to call. Over 61 years, they've been family-owned and wonderful folks, professional folks. They came out to our house over 3 years ago, and they performed the free pest inspection inside and out with a thorough job. And the professional team member, Liam, he said, all right, you got ants in your bathroom. We're going to take care of that. But let's look at some other issues that may come up down the road. He did so. We've been happy ever since. Stark Exterminators, great company. They're going to use the most environmentally effective solutions available. That's great news for you. That's great news for your family, including your pets, because they are family. Call today for the free home or business pest inspection. 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. Once again, 855-STARK-NOW or starkexterminators.com. And as always, tell them Landrum from Three-Man Front and Jox 94.5 sent you.
You remember last week we had Skip Holtz on the show, the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, and we asked him, hey, so you lean one way or another in regards to the DC-Michigan matchup? And he said, well, I'm pulling for Michigan because obviously I want someone from the USFL to take home the championship like we did the last couple of years. Well, it did not turn out that way this weekend. 58-34. Wow. 58 points. It sets the record for the most points scored in a UFL game and the most points scored in the modern era of spring football, even during a regular season. Most points scored. Ole Miss's Jordan Ta'amu, MVP. He was named the UFL Championship Game MVP after setting a UFL record 390 passing yards. He completed 21 of 28. It was just an amazing. I think they scored on all drives. I think 11 drives for DC, and they scored on every drive. Michigan did not have an answer. So 58-34 as DC. They had the best record during the regular season in the UFL, and so they take care of business. They win the UFL championship. Did you guys see the attendance number?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see it?
No, I'll be honest with you. I totally forgot the game was this weekend.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Would you like to take a guess?
St. Louis, right?
Mm-hmm.
The attendance was 23,872.
Okay, 23,000.
I was going to go like 20,000.
About 20,000?
Mhm.
14,559. And it
Wow.
did not look like 14,559 on television.
Apparently, the people of St. Louis forgot to.
So the second year in a row, unfortunately for the UFL, that they have cut the deal with St. Louis to host the championship game. And both years you thought, okay, this St. Louis has an excellent shot of making it to the championship game, and neither season they did not. And it definitely affects attendance.
Well, my comment wasn't a knock on the UFL. It's just the Stallions not being involved. And then you got the U.S. Open, you got the College World Series, and other things going on. But good for that coach from D.C. that showed his butt in the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that podcaster was very happy over the weekend.
UFL expert?
Our favorite UFL podcaster.
I do find it interesting because the individual that we have referenced and we played a clip for, who basically dogged Birmingham, and Birmingham had no business having a team moving forward.
Or a city.
So when we had Skip Holtz on the program last week, and Molly sent that clip out on all of our social media, and it got a lot of play in a lot of places. But unless something has changed over the last 24 to 48 hours, that individual had not put that on his website, that is supposed news hub. Now, if you don't find what Skip Holtz said on this radio program as newsworthy, then why do you even have a website?
Well, it contradicts everything that he was ranting and raving about.
Yep.
So I just find it funny how
That's not good for the optics, Pat.
yeah, just didn't have to say anything. Just say, hey, it's Skip Holtz. Comments.
Hey,
on
given
future
the
Birmingham.
altercation and given that guy, that's the new rival. They can try to
Or the defenders? Yeah. Put him in the dirt next year.
That's right.
Let's grab some calls before the top of the hour. Brett Ciencio is going to join the program. Let's go to Chris. Wants to talk about some other things that happened over the weekend. Hey, Chris.
What's going on, three-man front crew?
Chris, what's happening?
It's all good. Just driving to Huntsville working. Let's see about the UFL game, championship game. I guess the real USFL champs didn't show up because we did sweep them in season. But hey, here we are. Let's see. And speaking of the USFL championship game, y'all done say hello. Where was you guys? Y'all done say hello to what's going on there?
Well, Molly was sick. She did not make the game, but the three of us, we were there.
We saw you.
Goodness, come on now, Conrad, guys. Why don't you say hello or something? Even Don said hello.
Well, I was in the press box.
And we were on the opposite end of the stadium from you.
We were just trying to be incognito and just enjoy it like everyone else.
Piss posh. But anything though, what I really wanted to call and talk about though, and also Conrad, when my coworker heard you talk about those Bama alternate black uniforms, and he's all for it.
Yeah, add him to the list.
Here's the thing what I want to talk about. So, did you all hear the news that happened with the USA men's soccer team and how one of the players is quote unquote taking a sabbatical?
Yeah, it's Christian Pulisic. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So now when I speak on saying that they're nothing but a bunch of taxpayer blood sucking leeches who are really worse men compared to the women, I think it kind of hell's more prevalent now. And even then, one of the older players on the podcast, who was it, Landon Donovan, tried to criticize him, but in retrospect, he did the same. So here's my issue with those guys. We're never going to stop tolerating their ineptitude all around as a whole organization and say, you know what, snatch off your USA banner. You go your closing pass. Like you said last time, I called Landrum.
When is the World Cup, Chris? When is the World Cup?
Good question. Let's see. I want to say in about
next year,
2025, in about 3 more years.
No, I think it's next year. Is it not?
Yeah, right.
It's next year.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Let's
go.
So what they're going to snatch them off, leave them with a pocket knife in their country, and say, "Fend for yourself, and you better come back with a pelt before you come here." Okay.
Chris, thank you. Safe travels in Montgomery. We appreciate it. Brett Ciancia. We'll talk some college football and more. He joins us on Three Man Front as we roll on this Monday on Jox.
It is hour number 2. Welcome back to Jox. This is Three Man Front on this Reaction Monday. And we've spent a lot of time over the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to because we're just 28 days away from SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta. And we like to obviously go through all the preseason magazines as we're just about a month away from that. And then right around the corner, the season's going to start. And, you know, it's pretty interesting because I saw last week that the preseason prediction accuracy of all the preseason magazines from 2015 to 2024, our next guess is number 1. Pick 6 Previews is number 1 on the list from preseason prediction accuracy from 2015 to 2024. Joining us now on the Hickenbotham Hotline, Brett Ciencia joins us here on Three Man Front. Brett, I hope you're well. Hope your spring/summer has started off pretty well. I know you're a couple weeks away from getting this magazine out to the general public. But, man, first off, congratulations, because that's impressive. Last 10 years, the number 1 preseason magazine.
Yeah, well, thanks for the praise. Thanks for having me on. It's that time of year again, the magazine season. And, yeah, it's a point of pride for me, the accuracy title, because this is a one-man show. It's just me. I'm doing all 68 Power 5 teams. So to go up against the other industry, magazines and beat them all for 10 years is definitely a point of pride, and look to do it again in 2025. I think it's the best edition yet coming out. So much change in the game happening the last couple of years, and especially this offseason with the transfer carousel going again in full force. So a lot to break down. We have the expanded playoff. More teams are in the mix. So really excited to get this thing to the finish line for 2025, but excited to break it down with you guys today.
Brett, not asking you for any secrets. There's a method to your madness, so to speak, but if someone asked you what do you attribute a lot of your success in being the most accurate over the last decade, what would you tell them?
Well, I think it's really a holistic approach, and I leave no stone unturned. I try and find as much valuable data as I can. I think it's a balance between the advanced stats, the numbers. I've designed all my formulas and look at the numbers part of it, but really it's talking to head coaches, talking to coordinators, knowing how to balance the recruiting rankings, how important or not important they are. Looking at transfer portal, you really have to break down every position group as you go through these teams, and it's an exhaustive process. It really gets started there in January once the confetti falls on the national title stage, all the way up until July 4th. So I would say that the key to it is just knowing which metrics matter and really just going all in on it. And like I said, leave no stone unturned in research. So I think that would be my answer there, just everything combined.
Well, it's interesting because, as you said at the beginning of the interview, so much has changed just over the course of the last couple of years. And I know everyone that puts the preseason magazines out, and you are no different, you literally have to wait to the very last minute because of what's going on with the transfer portal, with NIL, all that type fun stuff that you got to put into the quotient. So just over the last couple of years, what has been the most difficult change in what you try to do in being the most accurate in the preseason prediction business?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to paint a picture, when I started this in 2012, this is back where you had a 1 versus 2 BCS. There was no such thing as transfer portals happening, and maybe a rare transfer here and there. You still had the Big East, you still had the Pac-12, and it just felt like a different game. Fast forward to now, it's just the crazy player movement that happens every year. Talking about 1,000 players or so, 1,500 players. A lot of them, and it used to be they were backups and all, but now you're talking all conference players, starters, and a lot of guys from the lower levels moving up. So I think the biggest change, the biggest strain on the process is definitely the transfer portal. And I know that there's some pros and cons to it for student athletes, for the game, but from the magazine point of view, it is a total headache, as you can imagine. You're talking about some receiver rooms where you break it down. You look, all right, who were the top 5 last year? Oh, wow, all 5 are gone. And then 5 new guys are all imported from across the country. So it's just an absolute mess. But I think that also is what adds value to my book, is because I do go there. I look at every single one, and I try and break down why they transferred. Is it a plus? Is it a minus? And how they're going to fit on the new team. So it is a crazy process. It used to just be very formulaic. You look at the recruiting rankings and returning starters and kind of have your prediction. But it is so scattered now and way more intense.
It's something we hear from former and active college football coaches, Brett, is now with the transfer portal comes NIL and some very lucrative contracts for 18 to 24-year-olds, and buy-in is a question during the season. Is this kid Is he totally concentrating right now just based on what he has in his bank account? How much buy-in are we going to get from player X this week? How much of that have you had to factor in as we've gotten further into the transfer portal and NIL era?
Yeah, I think two parts on that. One, I remember a couple of years back when the portal was really heating up, I was talking to head coaches and I asked them what's the biggest issue with the portal. And it wasn't so much about recruiting new players. It was retaining their own roster. They said, recruiting's hard enough, but now you got to recruit the 85 guys you already have in the building. So roster retention is huge. And then I think to your other point about buy-in and staying committed throughout the season, I think part of that is a reflection of the head coach and the culture that they build. I know that's a buzzword, culture, but you see that at certain places where the team will fight to the end, even if they're a couple losses or if they're knocked out of the playoff, they'll go all the way and stay committed. Or you see it other ways, like Florida State last year. They lost a couple of games. They were out of the playoff hunt. They packed it in. I mean, they went 2-10. That is not a 2-10 roster. You had NFLers all over the place. So that reflects a little bit about the team culture there. So that's definitely part of it.
Joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, Brett Ciancia, outstanding, covers college football. His preseason magazine's going to be out in a couple of weeks, so not going to let the cat out of the bag, but we do want to kind of hit you with a couple of teams in the Southeastern Conference just to not get your ranking of them, but just your overall impression as we head into the 2025 season. And let's start in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the Tide, they go 9-4. They just missed the college football playoff. They're going to have to break in a brand new quarterback, but this is an interesting sophomore season for Kalen DeBoer. Just your overall 30,000-foot impressions of this Alabama team for 2025.
Yeah, well, I think it was a hard act to follow. Obviously, taking over for Nick Saban, the legend of the modern game, 6 national titles at Alabama. So that was going to be a tough step, regardless. Losing the bowl game hurt because that snapped their 16-year 10-win streak. That's a FBS record. So that little dynasty there might be closing, but it's time for DeBoer to build his own dynasty. And I think the storyline of this year, there's 2 of them for Alabama. One on offense is bringing in Ryan Grubb, and that was his play caller, the wizard at Washington, that led them to the national title with Michael Penix. They've been together at Fresno State before then and all through the ranks. So to finally sign him at Alabama, I think is, it's going to be the real DeBoer package. I mean, when you hire Kalen DeBoer, you wanted it to be that offense with Grubb, and now I think you're seeing that installed. So that's huge. And the other storyline I noticed is that this is a more veteran team than usual at Alabama. I call them the dynasty tier, where it's Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, the teams that really cycle through 5 stars and send them to the pros early. You saw there wasn't that many draft picks for Alabama, and you know why? They're all back in Tuscaloosa. So very, very veteran defense. A lot of guys that could have gone pro have been retained, and it looks like they're all running it back for a big 2025.
Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 Previews, joining us here on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. On the other side of the state, you have Hugh Freeze in year 3 and the Auburn Tigers, the expectations there, and talking to some of our listeners and knowing that everybody believes that it should be better. It will be better, but how much better will it be? What are you looking at, Brett?
Yeah, well, a point of optimism for the Auburn fans. When you look at it statistically and with my numbers, this was a top 20 team on both defense and offense, a rare team to fit in the top 20 on both. But lost in those stats is the key situational stats. We're talking turnovers, red zone conversions, even missed field goals. All of those really hurt Auburn last year. They were terrible in those situational stats. Before those games last year could have been flipped to wins. They blew a couple 10-point leads and gave away a ton of turnovers early in the season. So I know this might ring hollow because that was a losing season, but I think statistically and what they have coming back, it should be a lot better than the record showed. Love the receiver stable. Could be the best receiver group in the country. Cam Coleman could be an All-American candidate for sure there. I think you'll see improved quarterback play, 2 5-stars battling it out there. But, I like Hugh Freeze's offense. I like what he's built. The recruiting game has really been activated there. 2 top 10 classes in a row. Got to have that in the SEC. So I think you're trending up if you're Auburn.
In regards to the AP and the coaches preseason poll, we all anticipate that you're going to have Texas, you're going to have Georgia, Ohio State. They're going to be those teams up towards the top. But I want to ask you about Texas. Arch Manning is now taking the reins at quarterback. We've seen how well Texas has done recruiting. Sarkisian's done a really nice job. Is this too much pressure, in your opinion, on this Longhorn team to be maybe a 1-2 or a number 3 preseason team?
I think that's fair. And, I just talked about what I call the dynasty tier of Georgia, Bama, Ohio State. I think Texas is knocking on the door. They haven't won the national title yet, but they're approaching that tier. When you look at recruiting, another number one class for them, 5 stars all over the place, every position group. And then you talk about they were back-to-back Final Four team and really were a yard away from beating Ohio State, or at least pushing that to overtime. And one of the little tiny things that plagued them last year was goal line and red zone conversion. And now the switch from Quinn Ewers to Arch Manning, I know he's a little bit younger, but he brings that red zone element, that dual threat mobility element. So I think that's going to help them a little bit in key spots. And they definitely deserve a top 5 preseason ranking. I mean, this is an NFL roster all over the place. I like Sarkisian as a play caller and a program builder, and I like Kwiatkowski on defense. There's a lot to like from Texas. I think the expectations are certainly warranted.
The team that they faced twice, once in Austin last season in the regular season and once in Atlanta in the SEC championship game, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. Some people trying to paint this as a rebuild, and rebuild is relative to who we're talking about. We know the cupboard's certainly not bare there. What do you see for the Bulldogs with a guy that we have seen briefly at quarterback and some of the surrounding talent that they've acquired?
Yeah, for the first time in a couple seasons there, Georgia looked human. We're talking about a dynasty, a back-to-back national title team. They looked human there last year, and they sent 13 more guys to the NFL draft. For Georgia, though, the machine rolls on. I mean, it's another top 5 recruiting class. Just like Texas, they're stacked everywhere with 5 stars and former top 100 recruits. But yeah, a couple of things that limited them last year, playmakers on the outside. There was not much help there from the receiver room. A lot of missed tackles on defense, but at least one of those was addressed from the transfer portal, bringing in Zachariah Branch, former All-American at USC, and then Noah Thomas, the 6'6" frame from A&M. So I think the receiver room is rebuilt immediately. That'll definitely help Gunnar Stockton entering his, now I guess you call it a second year, but really his first year as the full-time starter. Got some key experience in the SEC title game, leading that comeback to beat Texas. Got humbled a little bit against Notre Dame, although really the entire team did. Wasn't just Stockton's fault. I think you have a legit player there. And, Georgia, the way they recruit, they're going to be a title contender. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So it's now the particulars. Can Stockton elevate them to championship caliber?
The last team I wanted to ask you about is Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. We were just referring to how difficult it is the last couple of years for you to put these magazines together because of the transfer portal, and nobody has been more active over the last few years than Lane Kiffin. Your thoughts on the Rebels? They're breaking in a brand new quarterback as well. Could the Rebels find themselves knocking on that door to the CFP?
Yeah, well, Ole Miss is one of the most interesting teams to cover the last couple of years. The big experiment that Lane Kiffin is doing, calls himself the Portal King, and he certainly backed it up. I mean, they're number 1 or number 2 every year in the transfer portal rankings, and that's compensating for maybe not the best high school recruiting, just given the resources, their location. So it was fascinating to see it come together. It's a confusing legacy they left behind last year because they were a legit team. I mean, statistically, they finished number 2 in my game grader formula. They were definitely a championship caliber team, but then they lost three games by 13 points. And there's no one else to blame but themselves. But I think what you saw on NFL Draft Day and on all the All-American teams, All SEC, this was a serious team. And I think that the Portal King, I think his experiment worked. Now, is there staying power? Can he continue to reload every year? So far, so good. It was another top transfer class, 4-star quarterback again. Receiver room remains loaded again, thanks to the portal, taking starters off of 4 different teams. I think they might take a little step back statistically. Just sending all those guys to the pros is going to be tough to reload, especially on defense. But this remains a SEC title contender, remains a top 15, top 10 team, I think. So, it's just one of the best experiments to follow in college football.
All right, request, Brett, for one last little nugget before you leave. I can't wait for the preview to come out. But it can come from the SEC or can come from college football. Who is one of those teams that you've seen in preseason rankings or maybe other preseason publications that is being lofted up where you're doing the math, you're going through your formula, and you're saying, I just don't see it. I don't see the expectations being that high for this particular team. Who would that be?
Yeah, I think it's Illinois this year. And, I love what Brett Bielema has built there. It was a program he took in that was just brutal under Lovie Smith, one of the worst in the country. So the fact that he got them to 10 wins is a miracle, in my opinion. But and they do return a lot of starters. That's why I think they're being propped up in the polls this year, preseason-wise. People just look at returning starters. But when you look at who they played last year, some of their advanced stats, they don't really look like a top 25 team to me. And I think with a tougher schedule this year, you're going to see them come back down to earth a little bit. Would love to see it continue, but I don't see really a Big Ten contender out of Illinois while others are painting them as such. So I'll go with them on the national landscape.
That is Brett Ciancia, of course, the #1 preseason magazine over the last 10 years. Pick Six previews. It's going to be out in a couple weeks. Can't wait to get a view of that and his full rankings. As always, Brett, appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you right before kickoff. But again, Pick Six previews will be out in a couple weeks. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Anytime.
Appreciate it. That is Brett Ciancia joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, if you want to preview a great fleet of automobiles, whether it's cars, trucks, or SUVs, look to our friends at Dobbs Ford on Parkway East. The Goshen's husband and wife managing partners do a wonderful job. Their son Austin works there, but it's going to feel like family from the showroom all the way to the body shop, which is awesome as well. Dobbs Ford, check out the entire selection that they have of not only the brand new inventory, but also some of the pre-owned. Check it out at DobbsFordBirmingham.com, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. You're going to see Alabama's largest showroom selection of F-150s, the Mustangs, the Bronco Sports. How about one of those Expeditions as well? And right now you get Ford employee pricing. Certain makes and models you're going to pay what the Ford employees pay, also 90 days until your first payment. Dobbs Ford Birmingham, go and check them out. See for yourself how nice these people are, and they're going to take care of you. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Three Man Front and Jox sent you.
We will unpack some of what Brett Ciancia just told us from Pick Six previews. Very interesting take, especially on the team that probably is getting way too much press in the college football preseason. That's next, Three Man Front. Oh, just a great conversation there with Brett Ciancia. It was very interesting. Landrum asked him if there was one team, as he is poring over all the data. He's a couple of weeks away from his preseason magazine coming out, by the way, #1 the last 10 years in regards to its accuracy. And he brought up Illinois, someone that we all on this program kind of laughed at because I guess all the crowing that Brett Bielema did after last year's big win against South Carolina in the bowl game, it just seemed like that he was primed and ready, felt really good about his team for 2025, and everybody said, okay, Illinois is going to be that team perhaps in the top 15, and Brett's not buying it, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, not that I think that they're going to be bad, but I've never bought into a 10-2 regular season Illinois. And you go back to last year and look at their wins, and it was by benefit of a lot of it was their schedule. The games where and their schedule wasn't even crazy bad, but you look at the game versus Penn State, you lost that one. Another notable at Oregon, what happened there, and then some of the other teams. No disrespect to Nebraska, but it's not like they were world beaters last year. Just in the game against South Carolina, all right, kudos, but that's also a South Carolina team that Conrad is harsh as we have been on Alabama for what they did last year. That's a team that Alabama beat. That's a team that Ole Miss went over to Columbia and embarrassed. So I know it's dangerous to play common opponents and outcomes of games, but yeah, I never bought into the 10-2. Here comes the Fighting Illini for 2025.
Well, and I think the main reason for the hype, and I think this is kind of the only point you really need to make is the reason for the expectations. I think are primarily their schedule and the fact that their schedule is incredibly easy when you dodge the likes of the Ohio States and Oregons of the Big Ten, right? And I think it was very much hey, if there's a team that's going to have an Indiana-type season and find themselves with a 10-2 record in the playoff, whether we think they should be in there or not, it would be Illinois. But yeah, no, I don't think that it's just a copy and paste from last year of, oh, well, they beat South Carolina in the bowl game, so here they come. How many times have we done this where you see a team that looks really good in their bowl game, and you go, man, I can't wait to see how they look next season, and then, they're fine, right? I think Illinois is going to be a good team, but I'm not going to be shocked if they're 9-3 or 8-4 at the end of the year. I don't think anybody would be.
Well, it seems like
Besides
some of the
Brett
luster has kind of fallen off that star because you have Lindy's has them at 17. Athlon's has Illinois at 17. Phil Steele, Illinois at 17. FPI, 44.
Ooh.
Kelly Ford, who we had on the program last week, he's got Illinois coming in at 26. So it'll be interesting to see where Brett Ciancia, who was just on the program a few moments ago, who said that was probably the team that is giving way too much love. We'll see where he has them in his top whatever.
Yeah, it's a far cry from, I guess, earlier in the offseason when I think it was Ari Wasserman that had them in the top 10.
I can already predict this is going to be one of the controversial teams when it comes down to the college football playoffs.
Is it because their weak schedule?
It's going to be that.
The Indiana
yeah,
of this year?
100%.
Yeah, either they're left out and then you get the Big Ten crying foul and Brett Bielema putting out a very Buzz Williams-like dissertation on why they should have been in, or the other way around where they do what Indiana did last year and we're still looking at the resume. And this year they're 10-2 and they lost abysmally to two of the teams that you recognize as, okay, that's a really, really strong opponent. And then you look at 23-17 wins over Minnesota. You can go back to last year. They won in overtime by 1 over Purdue.
And Purdue was arguably the worst team in the Power Four last year.
50-49 was the final in that one, if you don't recall.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the game that went overtime with Nebraska, right? Wasn't that a Friday night game?
That was a Friday night game.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
But that was a missed field goal away, right? For Nebraska. They missed the field goal. And that
sounds right.
Yeah. I think Nebraska had an opportunity.
I just remember it was a Friday night because we had wrapped up our Hewitt-Trussville football game, and Molly was underneath the stadium watching the game on her phone, and it was
being very disappointed.
It was not going.
Yeah, I remember
well.
getting home and watching the closing minutes of that. But yeah, Nebraska had their opportunities.
So I had some people text me asking, okay, so who is the most accurate in these preseason magazines? Through 2015 through 2024, the most accurate was Pick Six Previews that we just had Brett on. Athlons came in at number 2. Phil Steele, 3. I've never heard of this before, but it's called McAleese Sports.
Yes.
Have you heard of that before?
No.
I have not.
But I like the name, Michelisi.
The Arena Fanatic comes in at number 5. The DR ratings at 6. ESPN's FPI is number 7. Lindy's is 8. The Versus Sports Simulator is number 9. And collegefootballpoll.com is number 10. So those are your top 10 preseason prediction accuracy from 2015 to 2024. Pretty outstanding. So,
No Street and Smith.
nope.
No Sporting News.
Nope.
No, I'm trying to think of some other
Some other ones from back in the day.
back in the day that we used to have.
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated.
That was a big one.
Oh yeah, I remember the magazine every year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The Sports Illustrated top 25. Who would make the cover?
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I had one that I had Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze on it one year
Did you know?
when they were in the top 10 to start the year. Yeah.
So yeah, Pick Six Previews will be out in
Was
a
that-
couple of weeks.
That was the Kim Dichie days.
That sounds right. It was just, yeah, I just remember that period where it felt like Ole Miss was getting a lot of love in the preseason every year, and then they'd end up being, I mean, fine, but they'd never reach the expectation.
Some things never change.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that.
When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll discuss what's next for the college football playoff. There is a call going on in a meeting this week in regards to the CFP. Will there be any movement whatsoever on maybe a new format for 2026? We'll get into that next on Three Man Front. Braves are off tonight. They will start a 3-game series against the New York Metropolitans tomorrow. Big news in baseball. You had the big trade from Boston to the Giants as Rafael Devers heads West Coast. Jordan Hicks is kind of the key member of the tandem that is going to the East Coast. Shohei Ohtani on the bump tonight. How about this? Ticket prices for tonight's game against the San Diego Padres up 174% from what it was the day before.
My first thought was, I hope this game's on national television, because otherwise, don't you think some executives are going to be scrambling around trying to get a piece of this tonight?
Yeah, if you can afford to live out there, you can afford to go to that game.
Yeah, probably so.
It was $51 yesterday to get into the San Diego-LA game. Today, it's $140. Just to see him
one
pitch.
inning.
Just to see him pitch 1 to 2 innings.
It's crazy. I say it's crazy, though, but if I had expendable income, he was coming to Atlanta. I know that he's already been there when he was with the Angels, but I would, if he was going to pitch, maybe I'd shell out.
It would be cool to see.
Yeah. Just to see it one time.
Yeah, unless his elbow explodes again out there tonight.
Before that happens. Yes, before the elbow explodes and he never plays again.
Well, this is already, his second Tommy John's, was it not? I'm just saying.
You would hate to see it. Hey, are you looking for a pontoon boat this summer? Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake is the only dealer on the lake to have Avalon pontoons. Avalon pontoons, known for luxury, comfort, and performance. You pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine on the water from Honda Marine. Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake also has Tahoe pontoons ready for family fun. Get it today with in-house financing. See it all at PoorhouseBranchMarina.com.
All right, so college football playoff leaders are meeting in Asheville, North Carolina this week, and multiple sources are doubtful that any decisions will be made on the playoff format for 2026 and beyond. So that's very disappointing. The Big Ten and the SEC have the bulk of control, as we know, over what happens moving forward, and they're not on the same page. The Big Ten and the SEC are not on the same page. Many leaders in the Big Ten don't want to even consider a 5-11 format unless not only the SEC, but the ACC goes to 9 games. There's still enough questions about multiple sources say that they would not be surprised at all if the format remains at 12 teams in 2026. That's how far apart that the Big Ten, the SEC, and the others are right now. So they're going to meet this week in Asheville, North Carolina. We'll see if all of this is just a bunch of saber rattling or indeed they will get a step closer. But according to sources, the Big Ten and the SEC, they are not on the same page.
I hate to hear that. Not totally unexpected, though, given the way that a lot of these talks have gone in the past. Not only about this, but anything else having to do with college athletics. But I don't have a problem. I would love to see the 5-11 matchup. And let's play 9 conference games. Mm-hmm. And if the network is willing to pay for those conference games, sign me up. No, I don't get a vote, but I think I speak for most of our audience that are SEC football fans that wouldn't mind seeing 9 games played within the conference.
So if this happened, let's say we stay with 12 teams in 2026, are they then able to renegotiate after next year and try to figure out a 6 team, or do we kick back into a 2-year contract like we have right now? What does that look like?
Well, they have to notify ESPN by December 1st. Like, what is the format? Like, what is the plan moving forward for 2026 and on? I guess you could put an addendum in there and say in 2026, it will be just like it is in 2025. It will be, straight seating, 1 through 12. And then 27, maybe there's another date that they'll insert in the contract that we will notify you in summer of 2026 that what it's going to be from 2027 through 2031. I suppose that's how it works.
I just didn't know if it'd be a case of, all right, we're kicking the can down the road for a year, or oops, we kicked the can down the road and now we're kind of stuck with this for the next few years.
Well, just from a fan standpoint from the SEC, and you could do this, but let's just say this year with the Alabama schedule and we added a Texas to that schedule. That excites you as a fan.
Yeah.
It might change your season projection.
Yeah, but from a fan standpoint, it'd be great to watch.
Then again, you could get Kentucky on your schedule this year, which you would welcome.
Yeah, Absolutely.
That's another W.
Asheville, North Carolina is a beautiful town. Maybe everybody will get there. They'll be in a good mood.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of farm to table, a lot of breweries.
Go to the Cherokee casino.
The casino.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy themselves.
Picturesque views.
Mm-hmm.
Just good old people.
Let's hope it's a good week.
Yeah, maybe they'll change their mind. Also today, the Football Subdivision Oversight Committee, they're expected to have a deep discussion on a single portal window. The hope is to come out with a recommendation. So this committee meets, then they come out with a recommendation, and then it will be voted on at a later date. But they're looking to get to one transfer portal window. According to Buffalo's athletic director, Mark Allnut, he told The Athletic, "I'm confident we will get there." According to several people involved in the process, early January is the option that has the most momentum. At their annual convention in January in Charlotte, if you remember, the American Football Coaches Association proposed the window run from January the 2nd through January the 12th, beginning in 2026, following a unanimous vote of dozens of FBS head coaches in attendance. So that's what they want. Now, the January 2nd date would allow most schools to finish the season with their full team, a response to rising numbers of opt-outs from bowl games to even, we've seen it, backup quarterbacks in the college football playoff. Penn State's backup quarterback, he went to the transfer portal because of the window. Not everybody's on board, though, with that early January portal window. Some power conference schools prefer the spring. If I'm not mistaken, I think Kirby Smart wants a spring portal, not the January portal window. And if they go to that spring portal window, look for more practices for spring practices for teams. It's going to be more like an NFL-style OTA practices. They're looking to add 6 more. So right now you get 15 practices once you start spring, and then you conclude with a spring game or whatever you do, tug of war, like you do at Ole Miss. But you could get 21 workouts, and there would be 2 different flexible periods from January to June in which teams could get together and practice.
I wouldn't mind seeing it just from the standpoint of what we do, because it feels like the second, for college football anyways, that second portal window has now become what the second signing day, the original signing day in February has become, where most of the action is done on that first signing day, where a lot of those big bucks, they walk then, but then you'll get a occasional. But is the SEC going to change their rule about being eligible to play the next season if we go to a spring portal as opposed to what it is now? Because now, if you transfer in the spring, you have to go out of conference to play your next season of college football. You'd have to sit out.
I would think they would.
You'd probably have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you do have a spring portal window, that allows teams the opportunity, okay, you go get someone out of the transfer portal, and then you're able to practice with your new players after that spring portal window based on this potential proposal of having
your OTAs.
The additional OTAs. So instead of waiting to fall to have an official workout, and I know you get together and throw and do things with your new teammates, but to actually have an official practice or an OTA, that would be something after the spring. I think they should adopt this because it's NFL wide anyway. So just
seems like a no-brainer.
So just go ahead and adopt, the NFL calendar.
Well, and as we saw, I guess we've kind of seen it progress over the last couple of years, but especially this year. I mean, outside of the Nico situation, the spring portal, I mean, it was nothing. And I mean, a lot of it for us was Alabama and Auburn. You just didn't have a lot of movement. But I mean, in general, I mean, there was just, in terms of big name players, there just wasn't any of that outside of the Nico drama.
So there will be a conference call today in regards to what potentially that may look like. So there's some college football news and happenings to keep our eye on this week. As I mentioned, the Asheville meetings for the CFP and the spring portal window, they're having that discussion now around college football. Now is also the right time to check about the safety of the trees in your yard with Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. No job is too big or small, from trimming to removal to grinding the stump and roots out to hauling away the last stick. They also offer 24-hour emergency storm work. The number again to Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. 43.
Quickly, we got to reaction coming in on the phone lines, 800-239-WJOX. Our buddy Dave is in Hoover. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Man, it's been so long since I've been on hold, I can't even remember what the heck it was I was going to talk about. But,
It says here, Braves and Ohtani.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really wasn't on hold that long. I'm just kidding you. I guess it was probably his last year. We have a group in Birmingham every year. We go Friday night, Braves game, and then Saturday morning we all get up and go down the river. But Ohtani pitched against the Braves. He was 0 for 4, 3 Ks, and they knocked him out in the third inning. He did not look good. But obviously things have changed since then. But I guess it helps when you got other people hitting around you in the lineup too. What are you going to do about these Braves there, Landrum?
I'm going to keep rooting them on and just expecting losses.
Well, at least Holmes looked pretty good last night.
Yeah.
Snicker blew that one.
Yep.
And Sale's he's gonna keep you in every game. And it looks like Strider, maybe he's kind of getting back to form. Maybe he just got to knock some rust off.
I'm so glad that you brought that up about Snicker, because my wife yesterday said this is why people are frustrated with Brian Snicker, and it was
man's an idiot. His parents are probably idiots too. Remember that line?
I'm not going to go that far. I'm calling an idiot.
You remember that? No, it was one of those sports talk radio shows that was the incoming song from a movie. He said the kid's an idiot. His parents are probably idiots too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate you. One of the few listeners that we know of that has actually seen Ohtani pitch. Now we'll have a bunch of folks there in the state of California that'll get to watch one inning of perfection, maybe? Who knows? We'll continue. It's Reaction Monday here on 3Man Front. Lots more to go on Jox.
1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. A reminder, tomorrow we'll be at Social Taco. Join us there from 10 until 2 o'clock. Doors open up at 11 a.m. Come on up and see us. We'll be on the Taco Terrace. Mike Griffith will be one of our special guests. Also, Gerald Watkins is joining us on site. Big event coming up on Thursday at the Rickwood Field. If you have not purchased your tickets yet, in the celebration of the Negro League's All-Star Game, the East-West Classic. That's going to be going on there at Rickwood. $12. Man, you cannot beat that. Home Run Derby at 12. Game first pitch is at 1 o'clock. It's a 5-inning game. So, 1 o'clock should be over with, what, 3? Something like that?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, plenty of time to come out to the ball yard, get you a hot dog, enjoy some baseball, and then be able to get home as they celebrate Juneteenth there at Rickwood Field. Also remind folks, if you are going, just like it was for the Barons and Biscuits and Cardinals and Giants last year, there will be a free shuttle from Legion Field. So you park at Legion Field, get on a shuttle, and they'll take you over to Rickwood Field. So don't even have to worry about parking. Just go to Legion Field, get on a charter, boom. Less than 10 minutes?
Yes, and the way that they did it last year, I mean, that thing was a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it was efficient.
They were getting people in and out. So yeah, it's not going to be a big time consumer.
Yeah, so Gerald Watkins from the Friends of Rickwood, he will join us on site tomorrow. He'll give us a lot of the other details going on with the Rickwood Classic as the East-West Classic gets going on Thursday. And looking at some of the rosters,
Golly.
top notch.
Yep. Wow. So Mike Cameron, Jose Contreras, Prince Fielder.
Mike Cameron, who was a Birmingham Baron.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason Kendall, CC Sabathia.
Kendall was one of the better hitting average catchers that I remember.
Yep.
He was really good with the Pirates and A's.
Yes, he was. And that's just from the West roster. And then you've got Michael Bourne. Remember Michael Bourne?
Mm-hmm.
Dexter Fowler.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Howard. Andrea Jones. Jake Peavy. Gary Sheffield. Justin Upton. Chris Young. And the list goes on and on. There's players that I didn't mention, but.
No BJ Upton?
Yeah, I think the Upton brothers.
BJ is on the other team.
Oh, okay. He's on the other team. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
I understand that I believe Ryan Howard, Andrew Jones, Adam Jones will be part of the Home Run Derby.
Oh, from the
That'd be
Orioles.
fun.
Yeah,
At 12.
he was an excellent player.
Yeah. If you've never seen the catch in which he saved the U.S. Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, where he went over the wall in center field, robbed a home run. I forgot who the U.S. was playing, but
Yeah, he was very underrated during his time in Major League Baseball. Great player.
very much. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. 12 noon is the Home Run Derby, and then the 5-inning game will begin at 1 o'clock.
I wonder what the number is, the total home runs hit. Are they going to do it just like the format? Do we know?
I do not know the format. We'll ask Gerald tomorrow, but we'll be there. We'll be there live.
I'd let them use cork bats.
Yeah, let him use aluminum.
I want
bats.
to see bombs.
Torpedo bats.
Yeah. Well, or just old school cork bats.
Yeah.
Molly was out at Rickwood last week. How'd it look?
It looked beautiful. They were working on the field. It looked great.
We're keeping it watered.
Yes, they are.
Oh, that's good.
Look nice.
Not that they needed to with the kind of rain we've gotten.
is true.
No.
Didn't really need to. They could save a little money on the old water bill there at Rickwood.
I had to treat a little spot in my yard, my backyard. Got a little rust. You ever had rust show up in your yard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got a good product, though. He knocked it out 2 days later. Rust free.
Did you go to the Trash Pandas game this weekend?
No, we couldn't.
Oh, it was
Had-
bad
we
weather
had
out there,
something
right?
come up in weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Huntsville this weekend. Y'all were supposed to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who were they playing? Do you know?
I don't know.
It
actually.
doesn't matter, right?
No.
It's just all about the experience. Go
We were-
and see Ollie the sheepdog.
We were going for the alternate jerseys too that they were having.
Really? What was the alternate jerseys?
It was the barbecue ones.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are interesting.
The barbecue ones?
Have you not seen them?
Mm-mm.
They're funny.
Describe
They
them.
are funny.
Maybe some innuendo.
Okay.
Yeah, go look them up. You'll get a kick out of them. They had fun with them.
They did.
So someone just texted me asking me about this East-West Classic, and yes, you can get tickets, and they're $12. But this is the Negro League's East-West All-Star Game. It debuted back in 1933 at Chicago's Comiskey Park and was played annually through 1962. It included several years. It featured multiple games, just like Major League Baseball. A lot of people don't remember this, but excuse me, Major League Baseball also used to have 2 games a year in the All-Star Game. But the second annual MLB East-West Classic is coming to Rickwood and will be here this Thursday. So Chris Young is the captain of one of the teams, and CC Sabathia will be a captain on the other team.
I just checked out the jerseys. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just saw that they had the Harry Potter night.
They did have that.
Did you see those jerseys?
I did. Those were really, I like those a lot.
Those are pretty cool.
They have fun with it. Yeah.
What was your favorite Harry Potter movie?
It was.
Didn't you just watch one
Yeah, I did.
the other day?
I did.
I like
Slow
number
time
3.
at the Roberts house.
Prisoner of Azkaban. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like Goblet of Fire.
I mean, I
I was
like
gonna say,
number
the
one.
fourth one.
I like number one. What's the one where his fat cousin he does the spell and he gets put inside of the snake's cage?
Is that the second one?
I think that's the
Is that two?
I think that's the second one.
I like
Yeah.
the second one.
Goblet of Fire was not my favorite.
I like that.
That was 4.
I like
That's
that
my
one.
favorite.
Yeah.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, I like
Do you like Order of the Phoenix, number 5?
Oh.
Oh, that's the worst one.
Really? You don't like that one?
Well, the book's the worst one.
I like that
Oh,
one.
you read the book?
You
Yeah,
read the
those
book?
books are awesome. Yeah,
Really?
the books are way better than
Yeah,
the
I read them
movies.
all, I think, in middle school, probably.
Probably the last book that I read, but I
Can't
enjoyed
tell you
them.
how many midnight showings I took my kids to when
Harry Potter?
when the movie came out.
Did you dress up?
No.
I know you did.
Oh, my dad, when the last book came out, we went to Barnes and Noble at midnight and got it. And
My
somebody,
dad and my brother did too.
yeah, somebody drove around the parking lot with a megaphone, and I guess somebody they had leaked what happens in the book, and somebody drove around with a megaphone and was like, "So and so dies on this page."
Is Hagrid still with us?
Ruined it.
Is he still? He's not. Oh,
The
man.
actor, no, he
No. Was he in real life? Was he that big? Was he that tall? Or was that
No.
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 Okay. I'm just thinking about the scene where the lady that comes in,
Yeah.
the really tall lady, and they kind of strike a connection.
Yes, they do.
Because they're both giants.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if he was like Andre the Giant. He was actually really that big.
And just like in The Hobbit, they aren't that small.
Well, I knew that.
I'm kidding.
But one of them would go on to play for Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Rudy. He was a good one. Had weird feet.
They all did, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Really weird feet. You should have been into that. They never wore shoes.
That's why I love those movies.
Stomp waffles.
Should have been a Hobbit.
Should have been a Hobbit. We continue 3-man front here on this Monday, Reaction Monday, on your home for everything, Jox.
We begin hour number 3 here on Jox. Conrad, Molly, Landry, I'm Pat with you until 2 o'clock. Take you up to the Paul Feinbaum Show. If you missed Brett Ciancia earlier in the program, you can download the 3 Man Front podcast. Download Jox 94.5 app. You can take us along no matter where you go, whether it's the beach, whether it's the lake. You can watch the show on YouTube, download the podcast, have all sorts of fun. See what kind of Alabama gear Conrad's wearing every day. Today it's a T-shirt.
It's basketball season in my heart.
Is that what you got on? Is it basketball?
Alabama basketball, yeah.
Okay. Did you go to the Final Four this year? I was just curious.
No, Pat.
Couldn't remember.
No. Thank you for the reminder.
Did I see where Nate Oates is coaching the under-19 Team USA?
Yeah, I
Did I
saw
see that?
something about that. Yeah. Good for him.
I saw so somebody
It's
sent
going to
me
be the next Coach K.
sent me a quote, I believe, from Bruce Pearl talking about Stephen Pearl is ready to be head coach.
Just priming up for
Do you-
that Senate run.
I was about
in
to say,
2
do you think
years.
he's kind of like throwing that out there just to?
Hey, Stephen, you're ready, but give me 2 more years.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it still understood that he'd be the coach in waiting there?
I wonder if it, I wonder if it's written in a contract somewhere, if it's
A gentleman's agreement?
Is that a handshake agreement?
Stronger
or is that
than
an
oak.
actual, yeah. Because, that's what the Patriots did, right? With, who was it, Gerard Mayo? It was, hey, whenever Bill leaves, you're going to be the guy, and it was in his contract, so.
For those that have listened to this program for some time, Landrum has always given me some advice on my yard work. It's always said, hey, look, you need to get yourself a 0 turn. And so,
Or a bunch of goats.
and I decided to go with the latter, which would have been the 0 turn. And there was no question where I was going to turn to get that 0 turn, and that is Artec Tractor in Jasper. Locally owned specialist in mowers and tractors, mower brands. I got the Toro, but they have Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, residential or commercial grade, more brands and better selection than the big box stores. And that's why I went to Artec Tractor in Jasper, is because of the options that they gave me. Tractor brands like Mahindra, Bobcat, everything for large home acreage, small homesteads, large farms, hunting plots, all that type stuff. They have got it there. But man, it has been a lifesaver. I've had mine for a week. I've only had to cut one time, and I'm already going out every morning saying, okay, is today the day? Because I'm ready to get back on my brand new 0 turn from Artec Tractor and get some work done. Large selection of also heavy equipment there at Artec Tractor. Jeremy, Greg, and the guys, they're going to take care of you just like they took care of me, just north of Jasper on Highway 5. That's artectractor.com. Come on over, Landrum. I'll let you, it's got cup holders.
Can I sit on it when you're driving it?
That would be a no. That'd be a bit odd.
That'd make a statement to your neighborhood, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I want that statement to be made.
Okay. Just throwing it out there.
I will be.
How many cup holders are on there?
2.
Mm.
One on each side.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That just says that.
Well, you need to stay hydrated as you're on your.
But why would you
your
need
0
2?
turn.
Exactly. It's for you and a friend.
Obviously. It's right there in the design.
Will you let me drive it?
Sure. Have you driven a 0 turn before?
I have.
Okay. Have you?
No, I have not.
You have not? Molly?
No.
If I had a big piece of land, I'd like to get one of those mini track hoes and just go out and just have fun digging.
Just go
Just go play in the dirt, baby.
Gone digging.
Yeah. Just go digging.
Well, Artec Tractor in Jasper can take care of you.
They got little track hoes?
They've got everything.
I want one of those little track hoes. Not the big track hoes, just the little track hoes. Yeah, I dig all kinds of stuff. I could,
See, I want
You looking for treasure in your backyard? or
maybe an oil reserve.
What do you mow with
That
now?
would be something.
21 or 22 inch?
That's 22.
22.
Yeah. And I don't need it. I don't even need self-propel. It's a nice little workout pushing that thing up the slight incline that I have.
I was about to say, I've never used anything that isn't a push mower.
Self-propel, and I know they make great ones. The ones that I've had in the past, it's really frustrating with the self-propel. And then you realize how heavy the mower is. If you don't have the self-propel, that's quite the workout.
Or if you have the self-propel and the self-propel goes out
Uh-huh.
because it's a little heavy on the back
Right.
end. If you have a back self-propel.
Yeah, you're in good shape, though, with that zero turn.
Oh, man. 42-inch deck.
Have you got the attachment yet for the stripe?
No, I
So
have
you can
not.
do designs. See, that would be really cool if you would do the. I talked to somebody who actually was on the field crew for Ole Miss baseball, and I nerd out on stripes and designs, and he was telling me how they do it, and that would be a lot of fun. You could go for the 4th of July. You could have a patriotic theme.
I was about to say, so would you go Husky mascot, Ole Miss, or Cardinals? That'd be a tough decision for you.
Seems like the Ole Miss might be the easier.
As soon as Jeremy dropped off, he brought it down to me from our Tech Tractor. And, of course, it's a Toro, which it's a red. And I immediately started thinking of the Cardinal decals that Landrum told me I needed to put on my lawnmower.
You do need some Cardinal decals.
Absolutely.
Write messages for when helicopters and planes fly over your house.
Well, of course, when you were at my house last, it was at night, but, we're right in the flight pattern, like jumbo jets.
I was working. I don't know.
You're
parking cars.
Yeah.
Sir, this isn't my car. Just take it.
So I definitely could have some messages in the backyard.
Yeah.
For the fine folks.
Help.
SOS. JJ Spawn, he wins the 125th U.S. Open yesterday with a -1. He finished 50th at the Masters, 37th at the PGA Championship. So he walks away with a cool $4.3 million. And listen to this soundbite of JJ Spawn after he wins the tournament. He had a little bit of drama going on in his family.
Well, today I was running to CVS in downtown because my daughter had a stomach bug and was vomiting all night long. So I was just like, okay. Like, my wife was up at 3 a.m. and she's like, Violet's vomiting, although she can't keep anything down. And so it was kind of a rough start to the morning. I'm not blaming that on my start, but it was just kind of like it fit the mold of what was going on, the chaos. But my daughter always asks me every time Dad goes golfing, she's like, were you the winner today? And I'm just sometimes like, yeah, I was. And then she's like, where's my surprise? But so today she's like, you're the winner today. Like, she got to see it. Like, she didn't have to ask me. So that was a really fun moment.
So what would you have done if you were in that situation and your wife comes to you and goes, hey, little Junior is like, it's coming out both ends.
I'm quarantining myself.
Y'all are finding another hotel, or I'm going somewhere else.
I would go. I would keep them there. But, yeah, probably going to quarantine myself with that on the line. Is that terrible?
I was about to say, this isn't
You
quite
got
as bad.
$4.3 million on the line.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
I think they can get over
This
it.
is going to be great for all of our futures. Dad doesn't need to be throwing up or having the
runs,
the screamings.
Yeah.
Well, and it's different, but you remember it was last year, right, when we had the debate over Scotty Scheffler because his wife was going to go into labor
That's right.
potentially on the final day of whatever major it was, and it was, well, if you have a chance to win a major, are you going to say, all right, honey, I'll see you afterwards? Are you going to drop everything and go to your child's birth? And yeah, well, fortunately, it didn't have to come down to that, but.
No, but Violet, I mean, think about it now. She said, "Hey, did you bring me a surprise?" No, but
you brought me
Mommy's
one.
going to be driving you around in something brand new.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
You're going to love it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. $4.3 million. That is tied for the largest ever prize for a major.
When he hits the pin and then the ball.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, what? He had a lot of stuff that he had to deal with. I mean, they all did all week, but yeah, good for him, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So you had 10 players after round one was in the red, and it finishes the tournament only one player in red, and that was J.J. Spawn. So pretty amazing. College football playoff leaders, they are meeting in Asheville, North Carolina this week. Multiple sources in the industry, they are very doubtful that any decisions are going to be made about the playoff format in 2026 and beyond at this meeting. The Big Ten and the SEC have the bulk of the control over it. And as of this moment, many leaders in the Big Ten, they don't even want to consider the 5-11 format because the ACC and the SEC, they don't play 9 conference games. So we'll see what happens there. College World Series underway in about 50 minutes from now. It's an elimination game between Murray State and Arkansas. The Hogs, they lose to LSU on Saturday, so now they're fighting for their lives. They're going to have to come out of the losers bracket. This evening will be a winners bracket game as UCLA will take on LSU. Rockies over the Braves yesterday, 10-1. Atlanta was a minus 335 favorite on the money line.
Yeah.
It was tied going into the 7th inning.
Yeah.
I was just sharing with this is crazy. Atlanta Braves, the relief staff, 7th inning on. Where do you think they rank in Major League Baseball?
Oh, 30th.
That would be 21st.
No. That's not the stat. Wait for it.
8th inning or later, what do you think they are? Out of the 30 teams.
28th.
23rd.
So it just gets worse.
That's not the stat.
9th inning. What do you think it is?
30th.
29th.
There we go.
6.21 ERA.
In the 9th inning? Well, to be fair, that one game really set y'all back against the Diamondbacks.
There's been a lot of other things that have set us back.
Well, yeah.
That have led to that ERA.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been
But
bad.
that kind of surprised me because, 7th inning on.
It's like you're telling me there's been 9 teams worse than the Braves?
Yes.
And look, yesterday, pulling Holmes, I disagreed with at the time. I still do. But that led to that. But it doesn't mask the fact that you got one run. One.
Against Austin Gomber.
Gomber.
It's okay. Sweep the Mets.
It's fine. I hope they win, but I'm over this team right now.
But based on what Barrett Slee told us on Friday, the formula is still there. Win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, but he also added you're going to have to get some sweeps somewhere, and this would have been a great time to get a sweep. But I'm not entertaining. We're at 9.5 games back in the wild card race.
13 and a half.
This is not a playoff baseball team.
13.
It's not a playoff baseball team. Just not.
Okay, so if you're the general manager of the Braves, what do you do, if anything? Do you hold all your cards? Do you just let the season play out? You call Snitker in and say, "Look, you announce after the All-Star game you're gonna announce your retirement, and we'll let you play it out the rest of the season." Do you make trades? What do you do?
Well, see, right now, I don't know what you're going to be able to get at the trade deadline for somebody who's a contender that, let's just say they want to add a bat and they want to get Marcell Ozuna, or they want to add another bat and for some reason, Sean Murphy looks enticing to them. You're not really replacing anything. Yes, you could always use prospects, but you need immediate needs for next season. So I would just hold on to what you got, unless you get some kind of stupid offer, which you're not going to from a contender, and then.
But this is Ozuna's last year, right?
Yes, it is.
So you would trade him. That would be foolish.
Yes.
And
Sean Murphy, he's still got some years left. I think, yeah, because he came over with the Olsen deal.
But that's probably a guy you could get rid of and then save some money, get somebody to back up Drake Baldwin next year, and shed that.
I mean, as much
salary
as
and get a little something
I appreciate Ozzie Albies. Ozzie, if you can find another home for him, that's fine. I don't think that there's so many.
So who's your give me 3 do not touch players on that roster? Like under no circumstance.
Acuna.
On non-pitchers.
Non-pitchers. Acuna. I like Matt Olson. I'm good with that. And then Austin Riley.
But somebody has a decent offer for Michael Harris. You're entertaining that?
Yeah.
Baldwin.
No, that's my next. Do not. No, he's the catcher of the future for the Braves.
Okay, so would you rather protect Matt Olson or Drake Baldwin?
You'd have to do Baldwin.
I think so.
I'd get rid of Olson.
Yeah.
I think Acuna, obviously he's at the top, but.
Yeah, you guys will make a run at him when his contract's up.
Yeah,
Offer him
12
stupid money.
years when his contract's done. We're working on that Paul Skeens deal right now.
I'm going to look up Ronald Acuna, his contract, because I don't think it's that long.
Maybe his was only like 8 years when he signed it, something like that. Because Albies was the one, he signed a 10-year deal, didn't he?
Would
You've got options for the 27 and 28 season. It's team options.
Okay.
If Detroit offered Skubal for Acuna, would you take him?
Oh, he was he was asking you.
Oh, well, sorry.
Did you think he was asking me?
Skubal for who?
For Acuna.
No.
How old is Skubal? He's 28. Okay.
No. I'm not taking. I don't know if I'm taking anybody for Acuna.
You would not trade anyone in Major League Baseball.
Not
for
the
Acuna.
Ronald Acuna I've seen this year.
Aaron Judge for Ronald Acuna.
Looks like he's
right
matured.
now.
Shohei Ohtani.
No way, cheater.
How's he a cheater?
He's been cleared.
Well, wait until the book comes out 30 years from now.
So there's not one player in Major League Baseball. If it was offered just straight up.
I'm not taking. No.
Paul Skeens for Ronald Acuna, and you're saying no.
No. I don't want Paul Skeens.
Wow.
Wow.
You don't when you play the Cardinals. But
No,
you do
exactly.
Every other time.
And we'll face him in a division series, and what'll happen? Yeah. He'll pitch all 3 games.
All right, let me go about this another angle. Not that you would, but if it was inevitable, like let's just say Acuna's time in Atlanta, like Devers in Boston, it's ending. Whatever reason.
The writing's on the wall.
Whatever the case may be. But he's perfectly healthy, but the Braves have decided we need to move on. What player would you consider? If Acuna wanted out of Atlanta and you wanted to give him that opportunity to go play elsewhere, what other player would interest you potentially?
I think Juan Soto would interest me.
Okay.
Aaron Judge certainly interests me.
Okay. Again, that's interest. That's not saying Landry's already stated he's not trading Acuna Jr. I'm just seeing if there was anybody out there that would.
By the way, did you see the post game where he did the? You didn't, but he did the on the field interview. Translator comes out with him, but then he handles it by himself and he speaks in English.
I do like that. He is.
And then after he gets through the interview, he looks at the translator and gives the thumbs up, like, "Hey, I did it."
It's very cool to see that he's trying.
Yeah, he's got cute kids.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
No, did you see the kid drinking the milkshake in the press
He
conference?
does have. Yeah, he does have cute kids.
Yeah, he does. So no, Pat, he's going to play for us until he is 47 years old.
And he very well may.
No,
The next Julio Franco.
Bartolo Colon.
Yeah,
That's right.
Now, I was just curious from your standpoint, who would you remotely consider?
No, I think the 3 that I named, just from a personal standpoint, but I would think that would probably reflect the sentiment of the Braves office as well. I mean, you got to find an answer at shortstop. Nick Allen ain't the guy.
You could have re-signed Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, that's the problem. We don't want to pay that stupid money.
Leave that to the Cubs.
Yeah. This is Reaction Monday. Your calls are welcome at 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. This is Reaction Monday here on Jox. Thanks for tuning us in on this hot summer humid day. Don't forget Thursday, Juneteenth celebration there at Rickwood Field, East-West Negro League All-Star Classic. Join us out there. We will be out there live doing the show, so it should be a lot of fun as we get ready to see guys like Andrew Jones, Gary Sheffield. Going to be a lot of fun.
I bet those guys can still rake.
There is no doubt about it. The summer sales event is going on right now at Courtesy GMC in Trussville, and the savings are hotter than ever. You can get up to $15,000 off the luxurious Sierra Denali Ultimates or save up to $11,000 off the rugged AT4X with the largest selection in Birmingham. I went by there over the weekend, and let me tell you something. It is absolutely phenomenal in regards to what kind of options you have on that AT4X. It's the largest selection you're going to find in Birmingham. Plus, they've got over 30 certified pre-owned vehicles on the ground, priced, ready to go. They've got 9 acres of inventory right there at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. It's where Alabama goes to save on GMCs. So go visit them. Go see Josh Gargas and Drew Lawley and the fantastic team there at Courtesy GMC. Visit their online website at courtesybirmingham.com. Compare prices. You're not going to find a lower deal on any GMC vehicle than Courtesy GMC in Trussville, off of exit 32, I-459 in Trussville.
Did you guys see the big news coming out of the ACC, out of Berkeley in particular?
Yeah, they're looking for an AD.
Yeah, Jim Knowlton. He's going to retire. I love his quote that he put. He said, "It's been an honor to serve the University of California, Berkeley, the #1 public university in the country. The expectation of holistic excellence helps to drive everyone associated with the university, and our department is no exception. The combination of a world-class education, athletic excellence, an inclusive community, and awe-inspiring location. Most importantly, Doobie Hill. No. Truly special people make Cal a magnificent place to serve."
So why is he leaving if it's so awesome?
It was time, Pat. That's what they'll all tell you. It's time.
So the
Think about what that guy's seen, though, in just since 2018.
So the 3 athletic directors that led their schools to the ACC are all gone now. Yep. SMU, Stanford, and Cal.
Yep.
Every single one of them gone.
Starting a podcast.
The triad.
We're going to tell you everything that Jim Phillips told us.
Well, it's interesting
On the
because
triad.
the old conference that they came from, the Pac-12, a lot of rumors over the weekend. Pete Thamel had a big piece over the weekend saying that the Pac-12 is very close to getting Texas State, the Bobcats, as the next member.
Conrad, you should know. How did they do it? You were with McLaren, wasn't he? Texas State?
Yeah, he was. That's his school.
What's the weird little hand thing they do?
Yeah,
Anyways.
that's a weird hand thing.
I trust you.
Like you have arthritis.
Yes. Correct.
So the buyout is going to change for Texas State if they want to get out of the Sun Belt. If they're out before July 1st, it's going to be $5 million. If it's after July 1st, it's $10 million. So I think it would behoove them.
They're going to get something done in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be done. Also, ESPN reported that Memphis turned down the Pac-12 previously, but the Pac-12 has now offered a football-only membership for Memphis. And then Memphis would play football in the Pac-12, basketball, and all other sports in the Big East.
In the Big East.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the original, what they proposed. So the buyout for them to leave the American Athletic Conference would have been roughly $25 million. The Pac-12 offers them $2.5 million.
$2.5 million to go towards your buyout.
Towards the buyout.
Towards the
So
buyout.
10%.
Yeah.
That would be a non-starter.
Memphis made $11 million in the AAC last year. So the math ain't mathin'.
No, you need double that.
Because if you're going to pay $25 million to leave the American Athletic Conference, it better be for the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like going to the Pac-12 and then going and playing in the Big East. The Big East is going to give you about $7 million in basketball. That's what's going to put towards your bottom line. So I just don't see Memphis even remotely considering any of this.
In Big 12, that just seems like a natural fit.
I mean, if you're going to have
Memphis.
Cincinnati and really UCF in that conference, Memphis would be fine.
Would fit just fine. You're right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, but the dominoes, which again will not have many effect on a lot of people in our listening audience, but if Texas State leaves the Sun Belt, then Louisiana Tech could potentially leave Conference USA to go to the Sun Belt. Now, if La Tech doesn't make the move, then Western Kentucky is rumored. And then what's the school you mentioned this morning that would go to Conference USA to fill the gap if any of those teams leave?
That would be Tarleton State.
That's in Dallas, right?
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
I think it's in a suburb of Dallas.
I've heard of it before. It's one of those schools like, I've heard
I
of that.
always think about tartar sauce too when you say
purple.
Tarleton.
I think they're purple.
Let's see. They are in Stephenville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Stephenville?
Lovely city.
Looks like it's quite a ways from Dallas.
Is it near Huntsville?
I mean, it's not quite a ways. I mean, probably get there in.
How far is that? I don't know how far that is.
They are purple. You're right. That's their main color.
They're southwest of Dallas.
Okay.
I'd say under an hour.
Wow, their acceptance rate is
An hour and
incredibly high.
47 minutes.
They accept 94% of students that apply there. Okay.
Stephenville. I'm just going to the welcome page here.
Is Stephenville named after Stephen Austin?
Stephenville, Texas is an energetic and welcoming community. Population around 21,640. Agriculture remains the backbone of the local economy with, is it Erath or Erath County standing as the state's top milk producer?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And it says one of the most significant assets is Tarleton State University, a vibrant institution that plays a key role in the town's economic and cultural life.
Well, I just saw I guess the explanation for Tarleton was that they have shown that they are willing to put forth money to support their athletic program. And so I guess just in the schools that are on that scale that could join, that was why they named Tarleton.
I'd say that would be a good fit because, I mean, you think about when I know Texas State has about 40,000 students.
Yeah, they have a lot.
It's huge.
Oh. It's also known as the cowboy capital of the world.
Stephenville?
It's uniquely home to more professional rodeo cowboys and cowgirls than any other place in the world.
Okay. Sign me up.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
More three-man front on this reaction Monday. We'll get to your text messages next. 205-834-9450.
12:34, 3-man front on this Monday here on Jox. So glad that you're with us. Well, your chance to own that dream home at the lake is here. Coming up this Saturday, June 21st, the grand opening of the Cottages at Smith Lake. Located on one of America's cleanest, most pristine lakes, the Cottages at Smith Lake is the area's first and only tiny home community. 50 acres of woodlands on the peaceful, quiet west side of Smith Lake, surrounded by the Bankhead National Forest. You got over 120 home sites to choose from, each with beautiful lake views. Your choice of custom cottages from 6 unique models. The Cottages at Smith is beautifully planned, a community with amenities like gated access, boat ramp, community dock, saltwater swimming pool, lakefront picnic area, walking trails, and more. And it's all walkable and golf cart friendly. Don't miss your chance for your perfect lake cottage. The grand opening this Saturday, June 21st, presented by Joseph Carter Realty. You can come out, enjoy catered food, live music, golf cart tours of the home sites. That's opening day. The Cottages at Smith Lake, Saturday, June the 21st. Reserve your spot now. For more information, call 256-747-7459. That's 256-747-7459. Or go to thecottagesatsmith.com. That's thecottagesatsmith.com.
All right, so last year, our friends over at betonline.ag, they came out with their ratings and the percentage chance of teams making the 12-team playoff. And so last year, they basically gave you the top 20 contenders for the top 12 spots. Well, this year, they have decided, what the heck? We're going to give you odds on all 134 teams in college football. The percentage chance of them making the college football playoff is no different than the FPI did about a week ago when they updated it. So as of this moment, according to betonline.ag, the best odds to make it to the college football playoff is Ohio State. No big shock. 76% chance of making it. Texas is right behind them at 75%. So that is a big first game of the season between Texas and Ohio State. Coming in at number 3, get your thoughts on this, Oregon. So you have 2 out of the top 3 best odds of making the college football playoff come from the Big Ten.
Yeah. Interesting with Stewart's injury. Number 1, no.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Dante Moore, so.
No.
He didn't do great at UCLA.
And maybe part of it is path of least resistance with the schedule that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia is right behind Oregon at 71.4%. So about a half percentage point behind Oregon of making the college football playoff. Penn State is 5th best.
They should probably be 100% because we know they're going to go 10-2 and make the playoff.
So that's 3 Big Ten teams, 2 SEC teams in the top 5. With the 6th best odds, there's a tie. Notre Dame and Alabama.
Woohoo.
They have a 60% chance of making the college football playoff. Clemson has the 8th best odds at 57%.
That's shocking to me.
I thought it'd be a lot higher.
I honestly thought Clemson might be number 1 just because of the conference.
LSU and Ole Miss, 9th best. They're tied at 42% chance of making the college football playoff. That surprises me about LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I thought LSU and Clemson would both be higher.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ole Miss is that high, honestly.
At number 11 is Boise. 12 is Miami. Michigan State, 13. Tennessee is 14.
Wait. Did you say Michigan State has the 13th best odd?
No, Michigan.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, what?
No, Michigan's at 31%. Followed by Tennessee, right under 31%. Then A&M at 29.4%. Louisville, SMU, Auburn has the 18th best odds, according to betonline.ag, of making the college football playoff at 21%. Florida and South Carolina are tied at 19th at 20%. Now, if you played all of this out the rest of the way, the SEC would look like this. After Florida and South Carolina tied for the 9th best odds, Oklahoma, and then Mizzou. As I'm sitting here scrolling down the list, needless to say, Mississippi State has the worst odds at 1.23% chance of making the
Where's
college.
Illinois?
Let me find Brett Bielema.
Great question, Landrum.
Let's see where Vegas. Let's see if they're buying in on Coach Brett Bielema. I'm still scrolling. Here we go.
12% chance.
13.7%
You were
chance.
close.
Yeah, that was close.
So Illinois is behind Mizzou and before Indiana.
Okay.
That's a very funny spot for them to be.
But they're ahead of Nebraska.
Dang it. What's Nebraska's?
12.9%.
So there's a chance.
Sure. And the good news for you is they have a better chance than Iowa.
Yes, that's all that matters.
What about Florida State? Where are they?
Let's see where FSU Dave's team is in the grand scheme of life. As I'm
Probably going to be about
scrolling.
70% after they beat Alabama in the first game, you know?
There is no doubt about that. Where is Florida State? I'm looking. Vandy's got a 2.94% chance.
You're having to go past Vanderbilt to find Florida
No, I
State?
probably missed them here. Just hold on. UAB has a 0.99% chance
Okay.
of making the college football playoff. That is tied with Washington State, Utah State, UMass, ULM, UConn, Tulsa, Temple.
Come on.
Hey, round it up. It's 1%, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Everybody's undefeated right now, baby.
That's right.
That's all that matters. I am searching for Florida State.
Are they under a different name?
You think they're going under the when that used to be
The
all
State School of Teachers.
Well, they used to be a female school. I don't know what their name was before they became Florida State. Here we go. Found them. They have the same odds as Kansas, James Madison, and Duke. So if you lose to Florida State, it's the equivalent of Alabama losing
To James Madison?
to James Madison or Kansas. 7.69% chance of making the college football playoff for Florida State, or 12-1 odds. Liberty has a better shot at making the college football playoff than Florida State.
Pull up Liberty's
it's not
schedule.
crazy, yeah.
I was looking at their over-under win total. I thought it looked a little bit low.
As everybody's banging on their keyboards trying to.
Hurry up. All right, you got Maine.
You're talking about Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them a win there. Jacksonville State, that'll be tough.
Mhm.
They got to come down here. Bowling Green, post Scott Leffler. That's a win. James Madison.
With no SIG there, yeah. Probably win.
Old Dominion. Let's give them that one. You got to go to Norfolk. UTEP.
God, this schedule.
New Mexico State. Ooh, Delaware. But you
Ooh.
get Delaware at home. Missouri State. Bobby Petrino's not still there. FIU. Get to travel to
Ooh,
Miami
Pitbull
in
Stadium.
November.
That's right.
That'll be a nice breakup for the weather you're getting there in Lynchburg. Louisiana Tech, and then Kennesaw State.
Oh, my gosh.
That is 11-1
Yeah.
if I've ever seen it.
It
And that
has
is
to
with
be.
a loss to Jacksonville State and their new head coach, Coach Kelly.
Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes, they have the same percentage chance of making the college football playoff as Army, Cincinnati, Houston, and NC State.
That's not a bad group.
Wow, what is it, like 5%?
5.8%.
Houston is going to be a very intriguing team to watch this year. I kind of followed them last year with Willie Fritz taking over for, you know who.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Frost, in his first year at University of Central Florida, they have a 3.85% chance of making the college football playoff.
So
Well,
they
they've
got
already
a
done it
better
once.
chance than Vanderbilt.
Wow.
They do, yeah. Hey, they know what it's like to play in a national championship type setting. They're used to the pressure.
Scott Frost has had a lot of time to sit and think
He has.
about what went wrong.
So Mississippi State has the same odds of making the CFP as Arkansas State, Bowling Green, Coastal Carolina, FIU, Marshall, Middle Tennessee State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Sam Houston, San Diego State, Southern Miss, Stanford, and UTEP. They
Yeah,
all have
none
this-
of those teams are going to make the playoff.
They have the
I feel
same
very
odds.
confident in that.
My question is, does Southern Miss win 5 games?
Do any of those teams who just listed win 5 games?
Combined?
Yeah, surely combined.
No, that's not bad. That's not a terrible company to be in.
So once again, the headline, Alabama, 6th best odds,
Mm-hmm.
60% chance to make the college football playoff. Auburn, 18th best odds at 21%.
And they're not buying Illinois.
No. Illinois, 13.79%. So if you were to bet on Illinois right now, it's plus 625 on the money line to make the college football playoff. So there's some money to be had if Illinois were to do it. Meanwhile,
What if Indiana did it again?
Nebraska is plus 675 on the money line.
I know where my money's going.
A 12.9% chance. Nebraska is sitting by itself. They're right behind BYU and right ahead of Iowa.
Molly, it might be more entertaining if you just took that money and we go light it on fire in the parking lot. Might be more fun to watch.
No, there's no fun in that.
Okay.
More three-man front on this Reaction Monday. Your text next at 205-834-9450. $12:49 here on Jox. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front. Landrum, Pat, Molly, Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Paul Feinbaum Show coming up at 2 o'clock as all of us count down to SEC Football Media Days, which are just 28 days away in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be there at the Omni Hotel all week long as we get ready for another start of the college football season.
Well, something that we're looking forward to that's only 9 days away, that is the NBA draft and the Birmingham Squadron's NBA draft party at the Edge in Homewood. That's going to be next Wednesday, June the 25th. We're going to kick off at 6 p.m. We will all be out there, so come by, say hello, enjoy the NBA draft with us and members of the Birmingham Squadron, including head coach TJ Saint, who will be on site for Q&A and meet and greet. They're also going to have food and drink specials from the Edge tenants over there. They're going to have a golf simulator with a chance to win premium season tickets to the Birmingham Squadron and much, much more. So come out to the Edge in Homewood next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Join three-man front for the NBA draft watch party.
So on Friday, Molly's Movie Minute, she reviewed Bull Durham, and this week she'll be watching When Harry Met Sally. I cannot remember, did you ever see any of the Naked Gun movies?
I don't think so, no.
Was
I know
that-
what they are,
Oh,
though.
those would be good.
Was that ever on the list?
I think we did have one on the list.
Yeah, I think
Last
we did
year.
one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was announced this morning that Naked Gun movies are coming back. Matter of fact, August the 1st will be in theaters.
Yeah.
Were you aware that it was coming back?
No.
I did not know this.
Yeah,
Until-
they've been showing trailers in the theater for a couple
I didn't know we
weeks.
were getting a
Have they?
Spaceballs sequel until Friday.
Yeah. So Liam Neeson is going to be playing the new Frank Drebin that Leslie Nielsen played. And the storyline is that he is Leslie Nielsen's son.
Oh.
So he is Frank Drebin Jr. The reboot is scheduled in theaters on August the 1st. The original 1988 film, The Naked Gun, from the files of Police Squad, was based on the television comedy Police Squad, which parodied police and crime shows. The movie, it was a box office hit, was followed by sequels, The Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear. In 1991, they had The Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult, back in 1994. As I mentioned, Liam Neeson's playing Frank Drebin Jr., the son of the investigator first portrayed by Leslie Nielsen. Pamela Anderson is going to play his love interest.
Ooh, okay.
So she takes over for Priscilla Presley.
I didn't know that she was still active in Hollywood.
She's done some things the
I
last
didn't
year
know
or
that
two.
either.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's done some things.
Those movies were so funny.
hmm
Oh, yeah, they're great.
One of the clips I saw, and I think you've seen the trailer.
Mhm.
It's really good. So it's kind of introducing all these characters, and Liam Neeson is basically looking up on a wall of a picture of Leslie Nielsen, and he was talking about like doing this for his dad. And then you remember in the movie, Leslie Nielsen's right-hand man, I think it was George Kennedy,
Mm-hmm.
burly guy. You've known
Yeah,
if you've seen
yeah.
him. Okay, well, he has passed away.
Right.
And so the guy that's playing Liam Neeson's, right-hand guy is the son of that guy. And so then they do a wide pan shot of like almost everyone in the police squad looking up at pictures on the wall
Tell me,
of their, well, you know who else played?
OJ.
OJ did. And then you have a young officer looking up at the picture of OJ Simpson, and he just shaking his head no.
Yeah.
Like he's saying, I'm not doing this. Like he's not taking credit. Like
No.
but he's standing in front of the picture of
But that's a great way to
yes.
pay homage to the old movies, but yeah, have a little.
What was the movie where OJ's in the wheelchair?
Well, that was in the first one.
Yeah, it was the first one, right? And
Yeah.
he's going
Yeah, that's when he fell off the upper deck of the
Angels.
Angels
Yeah.
Anaheim Stadium. So like I said, I haven't been to the movies in so long, and so you went and saw that kid chewing on a knife movie.
That's right.
That humor,
And
though,
this was a preview for it, yeah.
it's so silly, but
Wait a
it's-
second. Did that
it's
preview
hilarious.
actually?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
But see, this is what I think I've kind of figured out with some of these movie trailers is when you have something like this, where I guess I saw that a month ago or so. When you're promoting something like a few months in advance now, they must think it's going to be pretty good. So that was what makes me feel confident about The Naked Gun. It's like, yeah, if they're showing this in front of a
Because
horror
typically
movie
it's
and
always
stuff,
the genre that you're going to see, right?
correct. And so when you see a crossover, it typically means, hey, we think this movie's going to
Was-
really kill it, so we want to put it in front of many people.
Which
as
sequel
possible.
was it where it's Frank Drebin and it's Priscilla Presley, and they're in the dimly lit romantic piano bar, and she's like, or one of them says, "Sam, play our song," and he goes, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." The wicked. I don't know why. It's just this movie, they owe me.
There's a lot of
We were already getting texts about who was playing OJ, but nobody's playing OJ.
I guess it's someone playing OJ's son.
OJ's son.
I guess.
Yes.
It's a great clip.
Yeah, it's very well done.
It's going to be really good. That's coming out on August the 1st. So bringing it back, The Naked Gun and Liam Neeson is.
Yeah, hopefully they don't butcher it. You just never know with the remakes.
So I don't know. Maybe the trailer. Maybe that was all the funny stuff. Maybe there's nothing else funny in the movie.
You know,
but the
Liam
trailer
Neeson
really
is
good.
not someone in that I would put in that genre, but
No, but then when I saw it, I was like, this kind of works. Like, I think they did a good job. But yeah, it is kind of different.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast with him and his career. Really, really fascinating.
Well, I mean, his daughter got kidnapped like 4 times.
Well,
it was really rough on him.
Yes.
One more hour to go on this Reaction Monday. We've got plenty of text messages to get to in the final hour. We'll also do some Pat Ponders. That's all straight ahead here on Three Man Front. As we begin the fourth hour here on Three Man Front on Jox, appreciate everybody listening up in Huntsville, Montgomery, here in Birmingham. Take us along during the summer months on the Jox 94.5 app. We're 28 days away from the SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia. Kickoff right around the corner as well, as teams will start preparing about 10 days after SEC Media Days wraps up. August 23rd, which is 67 days away, that will be the beginning of the college football season. Can't get here quick enough.
Is it media days for you every year? That's what it feels like.
Yes.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm. And see, now the preseason magazines, if you missed earlier, Brett Ciancia joined us from Pick Six Previews, which was ranked as the #1 preseason magazine over the course of the last 10 years. His will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, but it seems like now because of the transfer portal, they have to come out a little bit later than they used to, because typically when we would be at SEC spring meetings during the Memorial Day week in Destin, they would be out. That would always be my backpack. Like I would be reading that sitting at the pool. You know, that was must read. And now a lot of them, I think Phil Stills just came out last week?
I saw, Brian Edwards posted a picture yesterday where he had gotten his just now.
So it just came out. Pick Six Previews will be out in the next couple of weeks. So because the transfer portal, like everything else, kind of pushed everything back.
But if we only get the one, if Kirby Smart gets his way and we only get the one portal, and it comes in the spring, what does that do to some of these publications?
I think it would probably push it back to the old days, like because they would have the information. It wouldn't be so fluid. But
I was just saying, if they came out when they normally come out now, that would just be a hurry up to get those things printed. But by now, we're how many cycles in to the NIL and transfer portal era? Those guys, they're smart. They'll get it figured out.
College football playoff leaders are meeting in Asheville, North Carolina this week. Multiple sources say that they don't anticipate anything really getting done. It would be a shock because right now the Big Ten is holding firm that they will not consider a 5-11 format unless the SEC and the ACC goes from 8 games to 9 games. Also find that pretty interesting because the Big Ten is controlled by the Fox Television Network. Meanwhile, the ACC and the SEC by Disney and ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of, the Fox boys saying, hey, you guys need to play 9 games. If you're not going to play, we're not even going to consider a 5-11 format.
Well, if we got to continue with 12 and we don't get the 16-team format until beyond 2026, we're going to be just fine. But I want to see 9 conference games. But I understand the coaches being reluctant to it unless they're going to get some guarantees or it's going to be better as far as the piece of the pie for everybody. Just wonder what that looks like in the ACC. Adding an extra game, how much is that really going to help their bottom line?
ESPN's like, I just played one less game.
Yeah.
SEC, you play 9.
We've been talking about it. Do you guys really need to play? We think like 8's too many. How about 6?
Yeah, I'm just not really sure about that. Not the way the ACC has performed.
Or no, how about this? Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, and Louisville. We want you guys to play 9 games. Everybody else, we will send you the number of games we would like for you to play at a later date. Yeah. Oh, well. Who could have imagined that they wouldn't come to an agreement?
Yeah. This thing just is dragging on and on and on. We are moments away from the College World Series. It's an elimination game between Murray State, 44-16, taking on the number 2 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, who is 46-13 on the year. The loser goes home. Arkansas is minus 600 on the money line. They're a huge favorite today against Murray State.
I would expect Arkansas to come out today and
I bet their hair's going to be a little on fire.
Play inspired baseball.
Number 15, UCLA will be taking on number 6, LSU tonight. LSU is a minus 400 favorite. So a little bit less than Arkansas against Murray State.
So, and I could be wrong with how the bracket shakes out, but would you not have a situation where, let's say, if Arkansas wins tonight and LSU loses, would they not just be playing each other again in the losers bracket in 2 days? So if you're Arkansas,
that's
that's
what stunk for the SEC is only having 2 teams make it to Omaha. You play each other first. Someone's immediately going to go to the losers bracket that's going to have to fight its way up. So if LSU wins tonight against UCLA, then if Arkansas wins, Arkansas's got to beat LSU,
Yeah. Well, Coastal Carolina, they're in the driver's seat after winning yesterday because they don't play again until Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they win one more game, they're in the finals.
Yeah. The Shanties.
Mm-hmm. To the phones we go. 1-800-239-WJOX here on a Reaction Monday.
Let's go to our friend Miles. He's in Mississippi. Wants to talk a little college baseball. Hi, Miles.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
I'm a little late on this. Actually, like a week and a half late. But I wanted to, the other day, when Chipper Jones put out his tweet about what he was seeing in sports and college baseball, y'all discussed it, and I want to give you some kudos for your opinions. And I'm not trying to sound like the get off my lawn guy. I'm just trying to note what I observed in sports and in culture. It seems like decency, morality, respect for the game, those types of things used to be important, or at least putting forth that type of image used to be important to players and to organizations. And I'm not sure they are anymore. And that's a real detriment. I think this way, okay? I think about people like Tom Landry and what a special human being he was. We don't see that much anymore at all. I mean, can y'all think of anybody in sports today who puts forth the kind of image that like a Tom Landry put forth? I mean, can you think of anybody like that in sports today?
Man, it would take me a while. It would be hard to find anyone that would just parallel what we think about when we think about Tom Landry. But
yeah,
I would think that those guys and ladies are out there. I'm just put on the spot. I'm having a hard time drawing somebody that I would feel comfortable comparing them to.
Let me ask you it this way. Have we lost our soul sports-wise? Has sports lost their soul?
By soul, you mean just
win at all costs? Is that what you're talking about?
Moral compass?
Yeah. Yes. At the very least, caring about what at least image you put forth. At the very least.
Yeah, I think to some degree we have. That's a great question by you, but yeah, I think to some degree we have, and I think part of it, and it goes back to Pat and I being on a game broadcast, and I don't want to call out the coach and bring this up, but he was absolutely right, and what he said was, you used to go in, you jerk a knot in them, get their attention after a loss. Now we basically have to do it with kid gloves. And this is just for the college game. Go in and give them chicken fingers and smile and tell them everything's okay.
And hope they don't go in the transfer portal.
I'm not saying that's for painting the picture for just college sports or that generation, but it seems like now we have had to maybe cater a little bit, and there's that fear of not only with your own team, but also parts of your fan base. Where if I say this, am I going to be in trouble? Am I going to get suspended? Is ownership going to frown on me making the statement, even though I truly believe in it? Look at the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't want to get political here, but it just seems like if on certain things, if you're outspoken and you truly speak your heart and your mind, if everybody else doesn't agree with it, or if it's not popular at the time, then yeah, there's that cancel culture. I think part of that may play into it, Miles.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I'll share this with you before I get off. Well, I'll mention this first. It seems like patriotism used to often be associated with sports traditionally, and it just doesn't, especially since 2020, it just doesn't seem to be. Tom Landry's story. My father went to seminary. He was a minister, and he was at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary in the 70s. And Tom Landry came and spoke to the music department there. Not
We're going to put Miles on hold, and Conrad, if you can check on Miles, I wanted to hear his thought and telling that story. But Pat, you want anything you would like to add on sports kind of quote unquote losing its soul?
No, I think you characterized it just as well as I could. I mean, unfortunately, people don't have the kind of longevity in the business anymore because it's a win now mentality because there's so much money involved. And that's understandable. I mean, you put investment on the table for a certain individual, and let's just be honest. It's like if Kalen DeBoer goes 9-4 this year, there's about a $60 million buyout of his contract, but there will be a lot of people that will be unhappy. And so instead of him being able to build the Kalen DeBoer Alabama football team or the franchise that Nick Saban built, put his own stamp on it, he's not going to be given that opportunity. So, money's the root of all evil, correct?
The love of money.
The love of money
is the root of all evil. Yes. All right, we'll continue. Miles is back with us. Miles, continue your thought. Your dad went to seminary. Continue from there.
Yes, I apologize, y'all.
That's
apologize.
Okay.
I don't mean to take over the show. My father went to seminary, and he was in the music department at New Orleans Baptist Theological. And, a lot of speakers, they won't come to speak to a department. It's got to be a huge group of people. Well, Tom Landry came and spoke to just the music department. And he told them, he said, what you guys do is so much more important than what I do. And, I think about that. What humility. Yeah. I mean, that's incredible.
Yep.
And we don't see that anymore. There's no humility. There's no team before me. There is an I in our team now. Yep. And I just always thought that was incredible when he told me that.
Wow, that just gave me chill bumps.
That kind of humility.
Just hearing you recite that quote. Man.
He was a remarkable guy. Of course, a lot of those coaches back in the day, they fought in World War II, so they had a very different view of the world than today's. Y'all, I appreciate your time. I'm sorry about the phone.
No, you're all right, Miles. Thank you. Call anytime. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
800-239-WJOX. The text line is open, 205-834-9450. A lot of you sending in. The politically charged text, probably going to stay away from a lot of those today. No, I am going to stay away from those. Anybody else here on the show is more than welcome to read them. They know that. Stephen in Lexington.
I'm just curious, quickly, what are the politically charged? Is there something going on?
No, it's just. Well, if I say it, then I might as well have read it. I'll show you. I'll usually pull for the SEC, but I'm pulling for Murray State. Everyone up here in Kentucky is pulling hard for them. Thank you, Stephen, listening in Lexington on the Jox app. Don has chimed in. Hey, y'all, it's Don. Love the preseason love for Auburn. War Eagle and see everyone at Social Taco. Have a surprise for y'all. Don with a surprise.
I do know BB is supposed to be making red velvet cake.
That's right. It was that or the banana pudding, and you said red velvet, right? Or Conrad said red velvet. When is he going to he's got so many things. He's got to wear the high heels one day, right?
Yep.
Drake asks, has Molly ever seen the movie Crimson Tide?
I have not.
That was a good movie.
We've talked about that before on the show.
It is a really good
It's
movie.
been recommended to me before.
Hunt for Red October, Crimson Tide. Even the funny movie with Kelsey Grammer, Down Periscope. Spinal Tap sequel coming out in September. The End Continues, original in theaters on July 4th. Maybe before y'all's time, but a classic. Spinal Tap? Corey asking, what are UAB's odds again of winning the college football national championship? 0. What was it?
No, this is making the college football playoff.
Oh, this was, yeah.
It's not winning.
Not winning.
It is 0.99%.
Okay. So I would guess less than that, Corey. Thank you for the text. Pizza Larry says FSU, Kansas, Duke, James Madison? Question mark. Are you sure we're not looking at Final Four odds?
No, this is odds to make the college football playoff.
Nick says, I'll make a bold prediction for Auburn this year. They become bowl eligible by beating Georgia at Jordan-Hare, 31-28. Welcome back, Alex McPherson. Thank you, Nick, from North Birmingham.
I mean, listen, taking Auburn to make the college football playoff at plus 375, that is a really good investment.
That's good value.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 375. Bama is minus 150. So you got to pay some juice to make your money.
I found it was interesting they had a little bit better odds in South Carolina and Florida.
They do. Florida and South Carolina plus 400 on the money line.
Gavin tells us that Tarleton State, they're from Stephenville, Texas. Also, the city that we learned is known for more cowboys and cowgirls than any other place in the world. Reminds us they play in the same conference as UNA. Austin from Florence, idea for the college football playoff. 1st through 10th, set in stone. 11 and 12, play for 11. 13 and 14, play for 12. 1 through 10, have a bye week. Call it the wild card. Yeah, I wish we could just – I like the 5-11 thing.
I was about to say, I guess that's taking the idea we had with the conferences where you would have a play-in within the own conferences, and then that'd figure it out.
Bobby says, Molly, he would not be at all surprised to see Nebraska at 10-2 at the end of the year.
Really? I think I would cry if that happened.
He said
Tears
right
of
there
joy.
on the bubble for the college football playoff, given their schedule, and Raiola having a year of experience under his belt.
I read where Raiola has lost weight.
That's not good. I bet he's got mono.
No, I think it was just the opposite of what's his name at Kentucky that put on 30 pounds.
Calzada.
Calzada putting on 30 pounds. I think Raiola realized he was a little too fluffy to be playing quarterback.
How's his Kermit impression, Molly? Has he been working on that?
I think he has.
Him and Pat spend a lot of time together.
They sure do.
Mahomes. Not Pat Smith.
Yes, correct.
I don't know. Maybe Pat Smith does hang out with Raiola.
Fat Joe says, did you say BB was making the red velvet cake tomorrow?
Yes, she
is.
It's going to be so good.
Mike in Huntsville, I keep saying sports are going downhill just like the world. I'm starting to care less and less about college sports. Thank you, Mike. Can't read that one. But thank you for the text.
More three-man front. We will continue with your calls and your text messages on this Reaction Monday on Jox.
122 College World Series elimination game going on right now. The Omahogs taking on Murray State. Arkansas went quietly in the top of the first inning, and Murray State at the plate with 2 outs, and Arkansas trying to stay alive there in Omaha. You had Coastal Carolina winning yesterday. LSU will take on UCLA later on tonight. And a fun time. I wonder what our buddy Ty Richardson will do if his Hogs get eliminated. Probably continue to play golf.
I was about to say.
Eat Jell-O.
He will stay out there and play golf.
I wonder how much Jell-O he's had.
You know, I got a feeling that Ty is very similar to Molly in regards to being callous on certain things with their teams. You know what I'm saying?
He's got to be callous by now.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, I think Ty would tell you the same thing.
How about Mandu in downtown Homewood? It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. And right now, if you sign up for the month of July, you're going to get all kinds of savings on your first month membership. But electrical muscle stimulation fitness, let's talk about that for a second. What is that? That's boutique fitness. They made it easy for you. You go in to their location right there in downtown Homewood. Meet with their friendly staff. They'll take you around the facility. They'll put you in a suit. They'll hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body. If you're trying to tune up maybe your glutes or your legs or your arms, your shoulders, your chest, all different areas. You can spot train, if you will, and it works. Because of that technology, it's a 15-minute workout. That's the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. It's all been FDA approved. All skill levels, men, women, you're all invited. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. And make sure you tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
So on Friday, another news dump. The week before, it was Claudia Wilkins' decision on the House settlement. On Friday night, the NCAA released a question and answer document for schools with Division I sports to include additional information regarding the implementation of the House settlement. Schools can begin offering high school recruits revenue share agreements on August the 1st of their senior year, but they cannot sign them until National Signing Day. So you can make an offer in regards to an NIL agreement of your senior year, and you can agree upon it, but you can't sign until signing day. That makes sense. How about this? Transfer buyouts will count towards revenue share cap of the school athlete transfers to, according to the NCAA's FAQ. In other words, if I get a deal with Landrum for $100,000 and I pay you $50,000 and I still owe you another $50,000, and then you decide to leave, then that $50,000 buyout of the potential contract would go towards the revenue share of the other school. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But these contracts, not that we get to ever see any of them, they're all set up differently. I know that there's coaches pushing for 2-year contracts. Would that help alleviate some of these problems? But if I'm setting up a contract with a kid and it's $100,000 and he fulfills part of it, or he fills 1 year of it, or whatever, I'm just wondering, why would you set it up to where, I guess if you're a national brand. So if you're Cam Scattaboo, running back from Arizona State, who was doing the truck commercials.
Mm-hmm.
He decided he was going to transfer. Then that way, wherever he transferred, they would still be on the hook for however much. Not on the hook, but that would go towards their salary cap.
Correct.
But I would think that most of these NIL deals, they're not in all cases, but a lot of them, they're null and void when the student decides that he's going to transfer and then he just signs a new agreement with new school.
So about this, they also mentioned in the FAQ arbitration. It says, this is part of the FAQ. It says, can penalties imposed by the College Sports Commission be contested by an involved student athlete or institution? The answer is yes. A student athlete or institution may contest the decisions of the College Sports Commission for violations of the applicable rules using the neutral arbitration process. So it all goes to arbitration, just like they do in professional sports. It says, who will preside over the neutral independent arbitration process? A neutral arbiter with the authority to resolve the disputes regarding any decisions of a penalty prescribed by the College Sports Commission. It says, how long will the arbitration process take? It says it could take up to 45 days. They also asked if the penalties or I should say the arbitration, could the school pay for, let's say, Landrum Roberts, you're taking a case in front of the College Sports Commission. Could the school decide to represent you? And the answer is yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It just goes on and on about a lot of what-if scenarios about the College Sports Commission, about arbitrators and what potentially is going to happen. It says, who is going to be responsible for the costs associated with the arbitrators, including arbitrators' reasonable fees and expenses. It says, an institution that directly or indirectly pays the attorney's fees and costs of a student athlete, they can elect for a neutral arbitration, and that money can be put into a pool and then paid for later.
Okay.
A lot of what-if scenarios in regards to...
But you got to get them covered.
Yes. Also, On3 reports over the weekend that a few agents over the weekend said that deals have been submitted through NIL Go, but it's taking at least 5 business days to get approval through the clearinghouse.
Well, better than the NCAA clearinghouse was at one time. But
so
5
why do you
days,
have an app if it's taking you 5 business days?
I still can't
What's
get mine to
the
work.
purpose of an app?
But wasn't that the whole point? Was that it would be a
pretty quick?
What, within 12 to 24 hours you would have an answer probably?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 days, 5 business days?
5 business days for approval, according to agents who told On3 Sports over the weekend that they immediately, when it went live last week, they had business. Like they were ready to put it in the system. They got on NIL Go. They submitted it, and they had gotten to the weekend, and they had not heard anything, and they had been told that it's going to take 5 business days.
Can you hear the recording? Like you can't get through on the app, so your office at your school has to call.
Yes.
Thank you for calling the College Sports Commission Clearinghouse. Please listen carefully as our menu has changed.
Well, this was my question about the whole thing is, because this isn't just, I mean, this is every college athlete for every sport. That's, I mean,
5
we're
business
talking
days.
about, what, tens of thousands of college athletes that you're having to do this for?
Hey, and guess what? Like, here we are in the month of June. Not a lot going on in the month of June.
No, it's going to
wait till it ramps up. Because according to this FAQ that came out, like you can offer NIL deals starting on August 1st for a senior, but they can't sign anything until actual signing day. 5 business days.
If you're a Power 4 college football player, press 1. If you're anybody else, press 2.
And then it just doesn't even connect to anything?
No, you're just disconnected.
Yeah, it just automatically cuts you off.
No. Oh, there's absolutely. You've called those places, right? Oh, I finally got through. And then.
Yeah, and then you're off.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
well,
what happens, the first time there's a, oh, hey, we have this event coming up in 3 days and we want to pay you to come promote it. Well, it's going to take 5 days for that to get cleared through the clearinghouse, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you out.
Well, I will tell you somebody that will answer the phone every single time, and that's Abide Roofing, 205-922-7134, or you can go to their website, abideroof.com. That's 205-922-7134. Travis Lloyd and his outstanding local roofing team, they are ready to assist you, including that free roof inspection. Take advantage of this no strings attached, no pressure look at what's going on in your roof, whether you got loose shingles, whether you've got some leaking in your attic that could lead to a whole roof replacement. Let Abide Roofing get on your roof and give you the peace of mind of knowing that everything is good to go. And listen, if there's a problem like it was on my roof, not an issue at all. I trust these guys 100% because Abide Roofing found my problem, had to get a brand new roof. They dealt with my insurance company, and lock, stock, barrel, it was done. So happy with the results. They're licensed, bonded, insured. They're the real deal. I talk about them every single day on this program because I believe in what Travis Lloyd and his outstanding local roofing team, what they can do for you. Be proactive. Call Abide Roofing, 205-922-7134.
Well, your text, your phone calls, welcome. Also, we got 5 questions from Pat that we'll do. It's 3-man front on Reaction Monday on Jox.
1:35 on this Reaction Monday. Join us at Social Taco tomorrow from 10 until 2 o'clock. And then on Thursday, we'll be at Rickwood Field for the East-West All-Star Classic celebrating the Negro Leagues. So come on out and see us either tomorrow at Social Taco or Thursday at Rickwood Field.
We'll get to your phone calls. Let's go to our friend PG quickly. PG, how are you?
Hey, great, guys. I tell you what, I found my calling this Saturday, man. I know what I should have done in life, and I made a huge mistake. Didn't do it. What do you think it would have been, guys? What would I have been really good at? Should have been a Florida Gator.
I was going to say yell leader in the swamp.
Yeah, well, you know I've got the gift of the gab, right? The mouth.
Let's say either a carnival barker or perhaps an auctioneer.
That's good. I could do some auctioneering. But what I found out on the ABC show I was on Saturday with the starting lineup, I thought I would be great in the WDE.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was told. Yeah, because I got tossed around enough. AJ and all them throwing me out. But, guys, what do you think of this idea? The Rays are harder than a firecracker. They're 3.5 back behind the Yankees. They're playing at the Yankee Spring Complex Stadium of only 11,000 or something. Is there a possible chance they win this whole division? They've won a few of these divisions with the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Well, hold on, PG. Let's let our resident American League East aficionado give us his
happening,
opinion.
PG.
Oh, come on, Conrad. We better put a bet on this one. We got to get something on this, brother.
I feel good. Y'all are playing good baseball right now, but yeah, I mean, I still take my Yankees.
What are you going to bet him? $500? What are you going to bet him?
$10,000, PG.
How much? Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. I'll bet you like $10.
Yeah, okay, that's a little bit. Remember, I'm retired. I don't make no money no more.
Me neither, PG. I feel you.
And one last thing, on the Sun Belt Billy, good recruiting going on right now on 13th, and we're it looks like this is the year we go 10-2. That's my prediction for Florida. Hopefully we'll make the team of 12 in the playoffs. We'll see, but this has got to be the year. So that's where I'll leave it at, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I ain't been there in a couple of weeks, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Do you remember how to get there, PG?
Yeah, I knew you guys were going to say that. Yeah, I'll have to get Don on. He could tell me how to get there. He's the mayor.
Well, BB's supposed to be there, and she's bringing red velvet cake.
I'm coming for sure.
Okay.
I love red velvet.
Just keep your window down. You'll be able to hear Don a few blocks away. He'll guide you there.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks. You as well. Thank you.
Appreciate it, PG.
We will continue with the phone calls. Also, your text. This one comes from BB on the Jox text line, 205-834-9450. And she says that she's going to give us a call, but she does it in a very colorful way. Vicky's asking, has Molly ever watched Trading Places?
No, I have not.
Fat Joe back on the clearinghouse hotline. If there was there, they're going to have multiple people working 24/7 to be able to get all these NIL offers done in a timely manner. In my opinion, 3 shifts going. I knew it was going to take a long time to get results back.
See, I just like to imagine there's a little office with like a dozen people just constantly doing paperwork, and they thought that would be enough to suffice. Because, yeah, they're going to need a lot of manpower to get through all these deals.
And Paul says, go Tigers. By the way, Hogs got something working right now in Omaha. The elimination game. Runners at the corner, top of the third. Nobody out. Arkansas with a 1-0 lead.
So we should have 2 SEC teams alive after today.
That's right.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Ty can schedule another 18. They're in lovely Omaha.
Priorities, that's right.
That's right. All right, keep the text rolling in. We always love your interaction. Coming up next, 5 questions from Pat. We try to answer as a group. We have no idea what those questions will be. It's 3-man front on Jox. 143 at three-man front. Appreciate all of your participation today on Reaction Monday. The text line active as always. Also the phone lines. We appreciate Brett Ciancia. If you missed that, a Pick Six preview the last 10 years has been the most accurate preseason college football prognostication. You want to go and find it. Interesting notes on what he said about Alabama, Auburn, and other teams and who he believes might be, and I'm putting this in words, might be college football's most overrated team coming into the 2025 season. All of that there, joxfm.com and the Three-Man Front podcast. Right now, we do it every single day. It's 5 questions from Pat. We try to answer. This is Pat Ponders.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Go by and see them off of exit 32 in Trussville off of I-459. All right, question number 1. 60% of Power 4 starting quarterbacks this fall will be from the transfer portal. Which quarterback not named Jackson Arnold will be the most impactful this season? I'm going to give you an option of 3 quarterbacks. Carson Beck at Miami, John Mateer at Oklahoma, or Nico Iamaleava at UCLA. Which one of those 3 will be the most impactful for their team?
I think it's got to be John Mateer at Oklahoma. Just based on how bad they looked at times on offense, wasn't on their problems, had injuries, had to fire their offensive coordinator. But just based on what I've seen from him and the concept and what they're going to try to do there, I think that will be the biggest difference maker. Trying to replace Cam Ward and what he did, that's going to be really, really tough. And I think just the fact that Nico's playing for UCLA kind of gets lost.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's Mateer. I mean, if you listen to Morning Jox, you've heard me sing his praises for months now. He's an incredible quarterback. I really don't think people realized what he did at Washington State last year, throwing for 29 touchdowns, ran for 15 touchdowns. I mean, he's an absolute monster, and bringing his offensive coordinator along with him to help with that transition. It'll be tougher in the SEC, no doubt, with the competition and the quality of the defenses, but that is a guy right there that single-handedly could be the reason Oklahoma goes from 5-7 to maybe a 9-3 type of season. So yeah, I think it's Mateer. I'm all about him this year.
See, at first I was thinking Carson Beck, but like Landrum said, it's going to be really hard to follow Cam Ward. And just, I don't know, playing in the ACC is a lot different than playing in the SEC, obviously. And then I'm kind of with you guys. I feel like I'm going to forget that Nico's in the Big Ten, even though I am the Big Ten apologist of the show. So I'd probably go John Mateer.
All right, question number 2. Who's a current athlete so iconic they've become the face of their sport?
Man, feels like Caitlin Clark, but I never watched a whole lot of WNBA before.
My immediate thought was Serena Williams. Because, like, when I think tennis, she's the first person I think of.
I mean, you know where I'm going. So
If we
LeBron.
If we're going competitive eating, then it's Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, he's the face of his sport, or you call that a sport, exhibition, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going LeBron?
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's the face of the NBA?
Yeah, still. He will be until he retires. Don't try to deny that. Don't try to deny it. You know it's true. I'm not saying he's the best player anymore because he's not. But he still gets the most eyeballs.
Okay.
All right.
I would love to know who you think the face of the NBA is.
Well, it's actually on the logo, but it's not.
Okay, Jerry West has never been the face of the NBA. Well, okay, back in the day.
He actually was. It was his whole body, his silhouette.
Not just his face.
Thank you, Landry.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, question number 3. What's the strangest thing that a surprisingly large number of your friends believe in?
Like a conspiracy theory?
Could be a conspiracy theory. It could be ghosts. It could be Bigfoot. It could be there was an extra shooter on the grassy knoll. Whatever the case may be. Aliens.
I do have a lot of friends that believe in aliens. There's some I can't say.
I have no idea.
I guess I was because it was most recent Friday the 13th, and the whole superstition around Friday the 13th.
So you have a lot of friends that are superstitious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard references to that several times.
What's the ones you can't say?
Certain events that have happened that maybe there's conspiracies about who caused certain events to happen. And maybe it's not who the public blames for certain situations if you kind of...
So you think Nick Saban is responsible for the 9-4?
Correct. That's exactly what I
So
was
the majority of
talking
your
about.
friends blame Nick Saban.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah.
See, for my friends, and keep in mind, a good number of my friends are from Minnesota. And so they all think that Minnesota sports teams are cursed.
Based on what?
No postseason success, I guess.
Okay.
Is that for like all sports that reside in the state of Minnesota, or is that just college sports?
No, it's for all of them. They just always love to say, oh, yeah, Minnesota, we're cursed. Whether it's the
They
Vikings.
weren't cursed against the Braves or the Cardinals.
There's another one. I found another one. Some of my friends actually believe the Braves are going to turn it around this year and make the playoffs.
Wow.
That would be a
that's
surprisingly large number of people to think that. So yours is more conspiracy theory stuff?
Yeah. I have some, my friends have some out there.
As in
thoughts on a lot of
governmental
things. Yes.
conspiracy theory stuff?
I mean, okay, for a recent one that's not politically charged.
I
at
knew
all,
if I talked to him long enough, he would start.
Yep.
Give
No,
it away.
I'm not going to give you the good stuff. But no, like the NBA draft being rigged, things like that. They generally are in consensus about that. But yeah,
I want to hear a government conspiracy.
I will tell you in 6 minutes when we're off the air.
What could the government
I mean, I can think of a few right off the top of my head.
Is it vaccine related?
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, that is one of them.
Okay.
That wasn't what I had thought. Grassy Knoll might be involved in one of them, but a different way than Pat described it.
All right, question number 4. Describe to the audience your perfect morning.
Ooh, it's college football season. You're waking up. For me, it would probably be the week of the Alabama and Georgia game. Get to wake up, crack open a nice cold one, watch College Game Day, get to enjoy whatever the Big Ten has on deck for us at 11 a.m. that morning. And, just kind of soak it all in and build up the anticipation throughout the day of the big game you have for your team that night. Yeah, that would be my perfect morning.
Well, first of all, waking up. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. That's always a plus.
Always.
Watching the sunrise on my back deck. A little spiritual time. Me and the Lord. First tee time on golf course. I got the tee box first. Sweeping the dew. Little lunch. Later on,
I said morning. I don't need your whole all day.
I'll have a shower.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
And then the Braves win the World
Freshen
Series in
up.
the afternoon.
Yep. Get flown to Atlanta.
This is all happening before 12
Yeah,
noon,
this
folks.
is all. This is all in the morning.
This is all in the morning.
It's getaway day.
What time are you teeing off? 4:30. You got the glow in the dark balls.
Maybe.
Molly?
See, my perfect morning usually takes place around Labor Day weekend because it's week 1 of the college football season. So kind of like Conrad, and at least for this past year, you wake up, and I was always on the lake with my friends, like a morning walk or a morning boat ride, make some breakfast, you put on College Game Day, and you just get to spend it with the people that you love on the lake while watching college football, and it's great.
It's a great morning.
All right, 5th and final question. Name something you own a ridiculous amount of.
Shoes.
Clothes.
hats,
In general, just clothing.
baseball cards.
See, I was thinking like shoes, which I know is surprising to y'all because I
My
only
wife's
wear one
magazine
pair.
collection is insane.
This is random. We have like 40 towels in our house, and I don't know why.
Well,
Well,
I think we can understand
yeah.
based on some of the things that you've shared with us on the show, the need for some of those towels.
I may have set myself up for that, but in reality, we
Are they
really do
all
have,
full
like-
size?
Yes,
Like bath towels?
They are all like you would use when you get out of the shower. We have 40 of them. I don't know why. I mean, it's good. We have options, but
Are there
we
some of
have
the
so
towels
many.
that you've never used
Yes.
because you're washing and drying
Yeah, you
the
just
same,
keep the same in
8, 9
rotation.
towels?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
But we bought some new ones last weekend, and I got home and realized, why did we buy more? We have 40 of them.
What about you, Pat?
Oh, it's helmets.
Helmets. Yeah.
I mean, I've got helmets
I got a
that
lot
are
of those,
displayed and helmets that are in closets that have not even been brought out yet.
Golly. Just
So in your
Just start some
estimation,
more.
how many do you have? Or how many do you think you have?
Probably 60.
Wow. I did not think it was that.
Wow.
many.
that's a lot.
How many do you have?
Not 60.
You have what, like 20 maybe? A
No,
dozen?
I got like, it's between 20 and 30.
Okay. 60 helmets.
60 helmets.
Wow. So you don't have them all on display in your house? Because I was about to say, I did not
No,
see
some
60
of them are
helmets.
still packed away, so I have room for them.
You could have like the old school blue-gray game.
Yeah, very much so. Appreciate
Build a
Courtesy
team.
GMC in Trustful, exit 32 off I-459. They sponsor every single day not only the text line, but Pat Ponders.
Yeah, appreciate all of you joining us today. Brett Ciancia, all of that found at joxfm.com, the 3-Man Front podcast. Have a great rest of your Monday. God is great. Paul Feinbaum, the Paul Feinbaum Show is next.